A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
By the way, Kay, I've been here now for about an hour. Would you mind terribly if I went out and grabbed a sandwich?
How long will it take you?
Well, a ham sandwich will take me 5 minutes, a cheese sandwich will take me about 10 minutes, and a bologna sandwich will take me 15 minutes.
Go and grab yourself a triple-decker.
I love that boy.
Meantime, men, here's a tune that ought to lead yourself a little Yuletide heel and toe work. Let's all get in the spirit and yes, dance with the dolly with the hole in the stocking with Sassy Sally Manson. Yes, do it.
As I was walking down the street, I met somebody who was mighty sweet, mighty sad to see. I asked her, would she like to have a talk, make some talk, all the fellas standing on the wall, wishing they were me. Oh, mama, let me dress up tonight. Got a little secret gonna fess up tonight. I'm gonna dance by the light of the moon. I'm gonna dance with the dolly, with the hole in the stocking, while the knees keep a knocking and toes keep a rocking. Dance with the dolly, with the hole in the stocking, dance by the light of the moon. With the dolly, with the hole in the stocking, while the knees keep a knocking and toes keep a rocking. Dance with the dolly, with the hole in the stocking. Gonna dance by the light of that silvery moon.
Well, gentlemen of the AEF, here's a young lady who's traveled many thousands of miles to entertain you. She really deserves a niche in that good old GI Hall of Fame. Men, a Christmas command performance for Frances Langford.
Thanks, Kay, and Christmas greetings, fellas. It's customary to answer the request you write in, and this is no time to break an old custom. So regards to everybody at Navy 232, B.L. Swanson and all at 726. Scoop, Uncle, and Leroy, Navy 152. Also, so do the cats. Ralph and the homesick Seabees with the 72nd, the gang in Hut 261, Van the Flying Dutchman, Ray the Yankee Clipper, Mig the Whap, Rube the Swede, Tim the Shoplifter, and Jelly Belly O'Connor. The whole gang at 464. And all of you who have taken the trouble to drop me a line during the year. Here's the song you've asked me to do over and over again. It had to be you. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, and even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be me, might never be cross
or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do. For nobody else gives me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. I hadn't anyone till you. I was a lonely one till you. Nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you.
Thanks a lot, Franny. That was swell. Well, fellas, every week command performance is snowed under with a flock of requests for the familiar sounds of home. All kinds of sounds. The neighbor's piano, flivver horns, the 5 o'clock whistle, a girl saying no. All the sounds of home. Why, only yesterday a sergeant in Honolulu asked us if he could hear someone giving his mother-in-law a hot foot. Well, naturally, we can't do that because there's no smoking in this theater. But what we are going to do is take a GI in Guinea and let him listen to the sounds of his typical day back home when he was a good old civilian in Middletown, USA. Then he got up at 7 a.m. in those days, the loafer. And this was the first sound he would have heard in his bedroom. But of course, Joe finally did get up, and after he'd sleepily dressed himself, he groped his way to the bathroom where he gave himself a thorough washing. At 8:30, he arrives at the corner filling station where he works as an attendant, and a few minutes later comes in his first customer.
Yes, sir. Fill her up.
Well, you don't hear that anymore, fellas. Later that morning at work, Joe gets word that his aunt has been taken suddenly ill, and early that afternoon we find him at the hospital visiting her.
Skull count here. Get your skull count here. You can't tell one player without another skull count here. Peanuts, Cracker Jack, chewing gum. Peanuts, Cracker Jack, chewing gum.
Ah, yes, chewing gum. You don't hear that anymore either, fellas. Well, it's a great game, and Joe enjoys every inning of it. His Dodgers are behind by a run as they come to bat for the last half of the ninth. But the bases are full with 2 out, and their slugger is up.
It's 3-2 on the batter. Here's the windup. The pitch. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah, there goes the ball game. He struck out.
And so Joe disconsolately wends his way home. A bit thirsty, he pours himself a glass of milk. Hey. Just a minute, I said milk.
Whose day is this, yours or mine?
Oh, beg pardon. Well, it's after dinner now, and Joe has a date. Yes, just a boy and girl in the good old days. And all Joe wants are the simple little pleasures he loves so dearly.
Cut it out, wise guy.
I see. And that's the saga of Joe, the sound story of a GI before he became government issue. Night finds him once more, just as we met him this morning. Ah, well. Sleep well, Joe. Pleasant dreams. Yes, you're going to need pleasant dreams, Joe. Because when the mailman comes tomorrow morning, boy, are you going to get some greetings. Well, thanks a lot. You know, our next guest on this little mistletoe taffy pull is one of the most glamorous girls in Hollywood. Yes, sir. Years ago, a girl had to have it. Then it went out of fashion, and a girl had to have oomph. After oomph came, well, whatever it is, she's got it, brother. The gorgeous Dorothy Lamour.
The bamboo tree, my sweet, even in shadow, I feel no alarm while you hold me in the jungle night, my sweet. Close to my heart, you always will be. Never, never, never move far from me. Moonlight and shadow, and you. You belong to me, my sweet.
Well, fellas, while she was singing, I figured out what she's got. It's oomph, it, and particularly boing! No, seriously, Dorothy, that was lovely. Almost as pretty as you are, child.
Well, thank you, Kay.
You know, Dorothy, I can't understand why you've never asked me to, never asked to have me in one of those romantic pictures of yours. You knew I was available, didn't you?
Yes, I did, Kay. But there just hasn't been a part that fits you.
Well, why couldn't I have been in that last picture you made called Rainbow Island?
But it was a story where a man and I were cast away all alone on a desert island.
Gee, I'd have liked that. On that island, we couldn't have anything to do all day but tell each other how beautiful we are.
Well, that leaves me with no dialogue.
Oh, I suppose you're going to tell me that Bob Hope is more of a lover type than I am.
Well, you'd be surprised about Bob. He and I have had some wonderful... Bob and I have had some wonderful love scenes.
Love scenes,
Wonderful love scenes. In one picture, it was very romantic. He drew me into his arms, and then I looked up, and there was a beautiful crescent-shaped moon.
That was Hope's nose.
Kay, you shouldn't talk about Bob like that.
And why not? I don't know what you can see in a guy like him. What a phony. Where's the glamour? Where's the romance? Where's the good looks?
Hello, Dorothy.
Where's the exit? Now, look, Bob, I got a great idea for your next road picture.
I'm standing by.
It'll be about my hometown. Now, we'll call it The Road to Rocky Mount, Boll County, North Carolina.
That's 20 minutes of the picture right there.
Now, Bob, I'll be the star, and it's all about me. Now, in the first scene, I'm reading a letter from my folks, and it says, "Come on home, Kay. All is forgiven."
Even your radio program? Look, LSMFT, is Dorothy in this super epic?
Why, sure, she's what gave me the idea. You know, Miss Lamour's a lot like the state of Carolina. Take her eyes. That's the blue sky. And her shoulders. That's the curve of the coastline. And her sarong.
That's the solid south.
Well, let's get back to the picture. Now, the road to North Carolina. We start out, and after we've gone a few miles, we make a little detour.
Detour?
Yeah, we have to go around a big stack of tobacco. Then a little farther on, we come to another stack of tobacco.
Look, couldn't we come across a pile of irium somewhere in here? Let's not be selfish. I've got to live too, you know.
Okay, now we keep on going, and suddenly when we turn a corner, we see a big lump in the middle of the road.
I knew we'd come to Crosby sooner or later.
Yep, Bob.
Don't kick it at me, your relative. Go
ahead. Yes, Bob. Sounds like all yours are here tonight. Yes, Bob, it's Bing, all right, and we pick him up because he's worried.
Well, he ought to be. With 4 kids, it's a long way between service stations. Now, fellas, we bring you one of the brightest young stars ever to flash across the entertainment world. Loads of charm, bursting with talent, a really thrilling personality, effervescent, magnetic, dynamic Danny Kaye. Well, how are you tonight, Danny? Pretty good? Uh-huh. Oh, I'll bet you have something really sensational for the Christmas Command performance, huh? Uh-huh. Something will really rock 'em and lay 'em in the aisles, huh? Uh-huh. What personality, what magnetism. Uh-huh. Is that all you can say? Well, say something else, for goodness sake.
I teraz paciniożis z leżis brabhopis tros pacinialiel cordoris nal bresniel guardos snielba. Cormiel.
What does that mean?
Uh-huh.
This is ridiculous. I thought you were supposed to be a comedian, Danny.
Oh, I am, Bob, but there's no sense trying to top you. The great Bob Hope. Why, you have loads of charm. You're bursting with talent, a really thrilling personality. Effervescent, magnetic, dynamic Bob Hope.
Uh-huh.
And besides, Bob, my files only go back to 1937.
Yes, that is a disadvantage. My ad-libs go clear back to Prohibition.
That's what I figured. So if you don't mind, Bob, I'll just sing.
All right, Danny, what's it going to be?
Well, I've had quite a few letters asking for the lobby number from the picture Up in Arms. And so, this, if you remember, is a scene that takes place in the movie theater. And, of course, it's a musical picture, and all musical pictures are alike. So supposing you do get in the theater, and you do get a seat, and the woman in front does take her hat off, and you do get a look at the screen, you see.
Manic Depressive Pictures present... Roar! Roar!
Hello, Fresno, goodbye. Produced by our Humanic and directed by Depressive. Now you know the name of the picture and you'd like to see it. But no. Screenplay by Gluck, from a stage play by Motz, from a story by Blip, from a chapter by Runk, from a sentence by Dokes, from a comma by Stokes, from an idea by Gropes, based on a Joe Miller's a joke. Now you know the name of the picture and who wrote it, and you'd still like to see it. But no. Art direction, Pinker Puff Interiors, Minerva Buff Photography, Alonzo Tech Recorded Sound, as Needle Back Upholstery by Thackeray and Knackery by Thackeray to Pickery by Dickory and Dickory by Dot. Now, finally, at last, comes the picture. And what do we see? The same old beautiful chorus girls. The opening scene is a ranch in Fresno, California. So what are they singing? When it's cherry blossom time in Orange, New Jersey, I will make a piece of our fair. I know we can't elope, so honey, do be mine. And if... Up from the ghost rides a hunk of man. Here's our hero, Cowboy Dan, a galloping yodeling buckaroo. His horse, of course, is a baritone, too. I've got that old wagon wheel inside of me. I've got that. The girls are delighted to hear this. But where is our heroine? As the bell rings for lunch, we find our heroine in the corral eating a heart out. She is Mary Suen, the tap-dancing daughter of an American juggling act who left her on the doorstep of an old English castle where she was found by Sir Basil Metabolism, who said, "By Jove, a girl baby! I shall raise her as my own daughter," which she did. But she wants to marry Cowboy Dan, who she met on the strip, and it was love at first sight, and she wants to tap dance. The Cowboy Dan, who she met, wanted to tap dance, but she knows Sir Basil will never fit this. Never, never, never! That's why she is eating her heart out. But through her tears, she is singing a happy little song, because she is also a coloratura soprano. She is beside herself. Her favorite position. She rushes to her father. "Oh, Father, you must let me marry Cowboy Dan! He owns the big ranch in Texas!" Bar none. Cowboy Dan cannot believe his ears. Bar none? Why, that's the password of the FBI. It can't be. No, no. Yes, yes. No, no. Yes, yes. No, no. Yes, yes. No, no. Yes, yes. It can't be. But it was. He rushes to Mary Suen. "Mary Suen, you must help me. Can you tap out a message in code? This is a big chance. Now she can tap dance, which she does. But what has she done? She has betrayed her own father. But he isn't her father. He is Heinrich von Schluppenbank, Hodis Blum, and Heinde Blum, Godis, the Hölve, the Peim, the Hölve, the Hodis Blum, Blum, Hölve, the Frau Blum, and the dangerous German spy. Stick up your hands, you dirty rat, and go to sled and atom blast. So had the FBI finally captured German spy Dan and Mary about to blend. You think the picture's about to end? But no. Who ever heard of a musical picture without Carmelita Pepita, the Bolivian bombshell? I wish you could come with me to my little village in Bolivia. So peaceful there are the purple mountains with the lovely mist and the shining stars. And the little people who live so simple and quiet. And every night all they want to do is... Conga! 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 Conga!
Our next guest is so important that no one man can introduce him. So I've asked Fred Allen to return to the microphone and help me. Start it off, Fred.
All right, Bob. You know, gang, we've been rummaging around in the Command Performance mailbag, and we've found lots of requests for W.C. Fields.
Yeah, especially around the holiday season with New Year's Eve. I didn't figure on it. How did they hide that joke on me? Now, from APO 704 comes a letter signed Puddin' Souders, Mick the Chick, Shotgun Sipes, and Wino the Wolf.
And so for those guys and all the others, Mr. W.C. Fields. Mr. W.
Thank you, Fred Allen, and thank you, Bob Hope. And thank you. Now I'll start to read the line. Yeah, I said that, didn't I? Throughout the Middle Ages, the use of liquor was universal, and drunkenness was so common, it was unnoticed. They called it the Middle Ages because no one was able to walk home unless they were between two other fellows. I was the middle guy. Now, before I go any further, please do not labor under the misconception that I always have been a teetotaler. In my younger days, I was prone to take a nip. I chortle now at that former weakness in my otherwise strong character. But how well I remember my first encounter with the devil's brew. I happened to stumble across typographical error. I happened to stumble across a case of bourbon and went right on stumbling for several days thereafter. Of course, now I touch nothing stronger than buttermilk. 90 proof buttermilk. I look on my days of revelry with scorn and reproachment and shudder when I recall going to the corner saloon, tugging at my daddy's coattails and saying, "Father, dear father, come home with me now and bring a jug with you." However, I came from a very illustrious family. My great-grandfather was a friend of Benjamin Franklin. In fact, my great-grandfather would have discovered electricity, but he was too poor to buy a kite. He had to go out and hire one. I got a picture of him at home, standing in front of the town tavern. He was hiring a kite. Much higher. Now, many of you in the audience are giggling and scoffing and saying that I have given up strong drink only because the stuff is so hard to get nowadays. But you are in error. My basement is loaded. As I am. A pickpocket I once converted told me they have a school in Chicago, short for Illinois. A pocket-picking school. And the beginning rule they teach is no stimulants. They have to keep their heads clear and their fingers nimble. Why, friends, you set a bucket of beer in front of a pig and he'll grunt and walk away. And so should you. Or would you rather be a duck? Back in my rummy days, I would tremble and shake for hours upon a rising. It was the only exercise I got. Now, don't say you can't swear off drinking. It's easy. I've done it 1,000 times. In closing, I would like to offer my own favorite recipe to take the place of intoxicants. It's a real thirst quencher. It's called the Raspberry Freeze, known in England as the Raspberry Freeze. Take 1 cup of pineapple juice, 2 cups of raspberry juice, 1, if you're in Europe, 1 cup of black tea, 3 cups of water, and 2 eggs, 2 egg whites. Freeze until half stiff. Well, when you're half stiff, everything is all right. I thank you.
Very good. How about that, huh? Well, men, no Christmas package of entertainment from home would be complete unless it included the gal you write in about so often. She's tops with you, and she certainly tops with us. So, fellas, here's Judy Garland.
Hiya, Bob, and Merry Christmas, gang.
Judy, you sure look sweet tonight. That's a beautiful outfit you have on. Is it new?
Oh, no. Only the shoes are new, Bob. Do you like them?
Who cares about the treads? I'm interested in the turret.
You don't change much, do you, Bob?
No, if I'm in a lovely rut. Tell me, Jude, what are you doing after the show tonight?
Why?
Well, I thought we might go for another spin in my car like we did the other night. It'll be fun. I'm almost out of gas again.
Oh, no. No more of those wild rides for me. I don't trust you.
Why, Judy, I didn't hold your hand or hug you or kiss you, did I?
Oh, no, you didn't, Bob.
Is your brother really a cop? Well, what do you say, Judy? Is it a date?
No, absolutely, positively, and definitely no.
This kid looks like a cinch. Well, while Judy's trying to make up her mind, here she is singing Clang, Clang, Clang went the trolley.
With my high starch collar and my high top shoes and my hair piled high up on my head, I went to lose a jolly hour on the trolley and lost my heart instead. With his light brown derby and his bright green tie, he was quite the handsomest of men. I started to yen, so I counted to 10, then I counted to 10 again. Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. Ding, ding, ding went the bell. Zing, zing, zing went my heartstrings. From the moment I saw him, I fell. Chug, chug, chug went the motor. Bump, bump, bump went the brake. Thump, thump, thump went my heartstrings. When he smiled, I could feel the car shake. He tipped his hat and took a seat. He said he hoped he hadn't stepped upon my feet. He asked my name, I held my breath. I couldn't speak because he scared me half to death. Buzz, buzz, buzz went the buzzer. Flop, flop, flop went the whistle. Stop, stop, stop went my heartstrings.
as he started to go, that I started to know how it feels when the universe reels. The day was bright, the air was free. The smell of honey from time to walk and see. You tried to sleep, but couldn't sleep. In fact, you rocked and so you couldn't even see. Buzz, buzz, buzz went the buzzer. Flop, flop, flop went the wheel. Stop, stop, stop went my heartstrings. As he started to leave, I took hold of his sleeve with my hand. As if it were planned, he stayed on with me, and it was grand just to stand with his hand holding mine to the end of the line.
It's a great pleasure at this time to introduce to you one of the greatest actors I've ever known, and incidentally a swell fellow. Here he is, Spencer Tracy.
Thanks, Bob. Christmas greetings, gang. I ran across a story the other day by Charles Tazwell. I think you'll enjoy it. With the help of such sterling actors as Lee J. Cobb and Skippy Homeyer, Griff Barnett, Howard Duff, Harry Bartell, and Elliot Lewis, I'd like to tell you about it. If you please, Major Will.
The same winter sun that dances on the winter snows up north sprawls indolent at ease in the thick white dust of El Camino del Norte, Old Mexico. An old man, lean and ancient, his cheeks ripe as holly berries from the heat, has paused to rest in the cool, dripping shade of a pepper tree and has dropped off to sleep, a habit of the very old. He's suddenly awakened by the shrill voice of Pablo, aged 10, who stands with bare, brown legs wide apart in the center of the road and bitterly addresses a small, discouraged, disreputable donkey.
A donkey. A donkey, you call yourself, estúpido. A fine animal with 4 stout legs on each corner. A most splendid tail to shoo off the flies. And a most handsome head stuck on the front to point the way you're going. I see. And what use do you make of this excellent equipment the good God has given you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You are a disgrace to all the donkeys of Mexico. Of all the world.
Trouble.
See? Oh, buenos dias, Padre.
Whatever is the trouble, young one? What has the poor beast done that you should be so angry?
But nothing.
Well, then why do you...
And that is all he wants to do, ever. Here it is, but 2 days until Christmas, when a load of wood could be sold in the village to buy gifts and a candle. But does that matter to this one? No. He cares for nothing but nothing.
Well, a donkey's a donkey, Pablo. They're all the same.
But why? Why, of all beasts, should a donkey be so stubborn?
Stubborn? Oh, no, Pablo, that's wrong.
But...
I know everyone says they are. They curse them and belabor their back with sticks and call them stupid. But that's because they don't know the truth about little donkeys.
The truth?
Yes. It's really not stubbornness, but pride that makes small donkeys so aloof. No wind, sun, rain, pin, or bird can touch them. You see, their pride is a shield against all the discomforts man or the elements can offer.
What has a donkey to be proud of?
Oh, a great deal, Pablo. A very long time ago, a great honor came to one of them. An honor so great that it lifted him and all his descendants to an exalted place. A place that you or I or all the world might envy. And ever since that time, every small donkey has been content to stand and drowse in the sun or shade. For he alone of all animals, of all men, has already fulfilled his destiny.
His destiny, senor?
Yes. You see, once upon a time, there was a small donkey. He was 14 unhappy years old. and he had worked hard and long for at least twice 14 masters. He was battered and scarred and presented a most distressful. The tail was naught but a piece of limp rope unraveled down at the end, while the other hung drooping like a wilted cabbage leaf. Decided stiffness.
No crying over a miserable donkey. Eddie, be off with you. And take good care not to lose that piece of silver on the way home.
And so Pablo, the small boy, and the small donkey began their sorrowful journey into town. The boy was heartbroken and cried for a while. Then he tried desperately to think of some way to save his friend. The sound of the small one's hoofs on the road seemed to say over and over again, "Going to the Tanners, going to the Tanners." Suddenly it came to the boy's mind that there was a horse market in the town. If he could sell Small One to some new and kind master, the little donkey would still live, and yet the father would also have his piece of silver. Well, it was early afternoon when the boy and Small One passed through the town gates and down the narrow, twisted streets to the marketplace.
$83 is the bid. Do I hear more? No? 83 once. 83 twice. 83! Sold for 83 pieces of silver. You made a fine bargain, my friend. Now, who has the next animal for sale? Step up.
Please, sir, would you try to sell this small donkey?
Go away, boy.
But he's a very valuable animal. He's not nearly as old as he looks, and that's just because he works so hard. And the ear, the one that doesn't stand up straight as a donkey should, that was the fault of a careless master, not his own. And he's terribly strong, and he eats very little.
Now, this is a horse market, boy. We've no time to waste on donkeys.
But a small donkey would take such a small time.
All right, my boy, if you insist. My friend, a great bargain I have to offer you. The proud owner terms it donkey, but it appears to me to be an animated pile of shaking bones. You can see how the moths have been at the hide. And the is that a tail? Or is it the stub of broom worn out from sweeping the courtyard? A true museum piece, my friend. Moldy with age and loose in the joints.
He's not!
All right, boy. Take your donkey and move along. We've got business to attend to. Hurry up. Now that we've had our fun, disposed of the king's donkey, my friends, I want to call your attention to these two fine Arab steeds. Did you ever see such fine animals offered for sale before? We'll start with a bid at 100 pieces of silver.
And so the boy and the little beast left the marketplace, Pablo. The hours were slipping swiftly by, and the boy knew he must soon start for home, and that he must have the piece of silver to give to his father. He tried stopping people on the street. He inquired from door to door, but no one desired to buy a small, tired donkey. The sun was sinking fast when he came, at last, back to the town gates and stood before the tanner's door. The boy's face was tear-streaked, and the small one's head drooped so low that his limp ear almost touched the ground. The boy said goodbye to his small friend and asked forgiveness for what he had to do, and there was understanding in the little donkey's eyes. Then, just as the boy was lifting the latch of the tanner's door, a voice spoke to him.
My son.
Yes, sir?
I have a great favor to ask. Are you the owner of that small donkey?
Oh, yes, sir.
I have a long journey to make, and my wife is not well. I have great need of a strong, gentle animal to carry her safely.
Oh, Small One is very strong and very trustworthy.
Yes, I can see. Would you sell him to me?
Yes. Oh, yes, sir. For but one piece of silver.
1 piece of silver?
Oh. Is that too much, sir?
Too much? Oh, no.
A very reasonable price for such a beautiful animal.
He's not very beautiful, but he is good.
Yes. Yes, I can see that. I'll be kind to him, I promise you that.
Then he'll work hard to please you.
Here's your piece of silver. Come, small one.
Do you mind? Do you mind if I come as far as the town gates? You see, Small One and I are...
Not at all. You'll want to say goodbye to him, of course. You can do that while I see my wife safely on his back. Here we are. Easy, Small One.
Goodbye, Small One. You must be very faithful, and it isn't forever, you know. I'll buy you back, and you'll have a fine stable, and nothing to do at all but sleep and eat. Won't that be nice, Small One?
All right, my son. We're ready to go.
Wait, traveler.
Yes, soldier.
I must make out the record before you can pass through the town gates. Who are you?
My name is Joseph.
And your wife?
They call her.
Your destination?
Is Bethlehem.
Pass?
Come, Small One. Goodbye, son.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Small One. Be gentle and sure of foot and carry her safe to Bethlehem.
And so, Pablo, the Small One traveled the many weary miles to Bethlehem. And there in a stable, which became a king's stable, he saw a king born, a king of men, of centuries, of life, of death. Yes, the Small One's tired old eyes saw the shepherds and the wise men who came to pay homage to his small master. And he heard the voices of angels rejoicing, singing the very same notes his hoofs had rung out on the stones of the road. Then it came to pass that all those who had laughed at his ragged coat, at his limping gait, his drooping ear, they all envied the Small One, for he was part of a great miracle. That was a long, long time ago, Pablo, my son. But today all small donkeys stand and dream, especially at Christmas time. They dream of the Small One, the Small One of Bethlehem.
Christmas, 1944. Once again, America is singing the carols of Christmas, and Command Performance brings you home for the carols you've always loved. Judy, Frances, Dinah, Virginia, Dorothy, Ginny, and the Ken Darby Chorus are at the mic ready to sing them for you.
Spending Christmas many miles from home this year, around Saipan, Guam, Kwajalein, Guadalcanal, Lemoyne, the New Guinea jungles, where you'll miss the deep snow and the bare trees and the faint sound of carols coming from the little red brick church just down the street, here's Judy Garland to give you a bit of one of the carols you'd surely hear.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Some of you are probably listening to the expeditionary station at Port Moresby right now, or Tarawa, Tehran, Awaz, Natal, Assam, Yorhat, or Gaya, on the CBI area. Well, Jimmy Sims wants to sing a bit of a carol that is probably being sung at this very minute by some of your old friends or your sweethearts back in Columbus, in Philadelphia, and in Dallas. Jimmy? The first Noel, the angels did say, was too certain for shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on the cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 Noel. Born is a King of Israel. You men who man the cargo ships, the men of war spread over the seven seas, you men in landing barges and submarines, you Seabees and dock workers whose muscles sing with the work of victory, you men listening at Attu, Sitka, and Chitka and Dutch Harbor, here's Virginia O'Brien saying,
God bless you, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Christmas greetings to Jamaica, Georgetown, British Guiana, Khartoum, and all of you listening to the AES in New Delhi on the continent, the 5th Army Mobile Unit in Chongqing. Here's Dottie Lamour.
Deck the halls of boughs of holly, 'tis the season to be jolly. Don we now our gay apparel, troll the ancient Yuletide carol.
You men in Iceland, Newfoundland, the air transport gang, you crews of our mighty air fleet, you engineers, ordnance men, radio men, from Corsica to Munda, here's a bit of a carol from Francis Langford, just as you will remember it from so many previous Christmas days.
midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from hands of gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing.
And now, fellas, Francis, Dottie, Ginny, Dinah, and Judy join the many voices of the Ken Darby Chorus in singing the carol we hope to be singing with you next time, this year at this time.
The church bells which proclaim Christmas 1944 ring out clear and free in the towns and villages and cities of America. But that sound travels a long way this year of our Lord 1944. We are shaping tomorrow, a sure tomorrow, a good tomorrow, when all men will be brothers. This is home calling, the hearts of 132 million Americans calling. It says something very simple and very old. Love from home. And Merry Christmas.
Company presents its third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces. 2 hours of entertainment heard from coast to coast, and in cooperation with the Armed Forces Radio Service, shortwave round the world to battle stations ashore and afloat. In the next 2 hours, Elgin brings you Ginny Sims, Bob Hope, George Burns and Gracie Allen, Bing Crosby, Carmen Miranda, Jack Benny, Vera Vague, the Army Air Force's Swing Wing, the Charioteers, the distinguished concert violinist Joseph Seghetti, Rochester, Les Paul and his trio, an orchestra and chorus under the direction of Louis Silvers, and your host for the full 2 hours, Don Amici.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, greetings and compliments of the season to all of you this 1944th Christmas Day. To you men and women of the Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and Red Cross, to you men of the Merchant Marine, you women of the Nurses Corps, to everyone whose courage and fortitude has made it possible to bring the battle closer to the enemy, our thanks. Many of you today are far from your home and those you love. Wherever you are, may the spirit of Christmas cheer you with the faith and hope that shone from the Star of Bethlehem. To all of you, then, every one of the artists just mentioned by Ken Carpenter join me and the Elgin Watch Company in saying to you, men and women in uniform, to you mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, wives, and sweethearts, and to all of you who tend the forges of war, may the next 2 hours bring you some measure of the song that should be a part of this day. With this hope, we bring you the lovely Ginny Sims singing Vincent Youmans' Hallelujah.
hallelujah, hallelujah, helps to shoot those blues away.
Sing hallelujah, hallelujah, sing hallelujah, and you shoot the blues away. We can't pursue you, hallelujah, if you through the darkest day.
Satan lies awaiting and creating skies of gray.
But hallelujah, hallelujah,
helps to shoot the blues away.
hallelujah,
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And helps to shoot the dark clouds far away.
Oh, that was lovely, Jenny, lovely.
Well, thank you, Don.
Ladies and gentlemen, for an extra special musical treat, Miss Sims will be accompanied in her next song by America's foremost virtuoso of the violin, Jack Benny.
Wait a minute, Don. I meant to tell you about that.
What's the matter, Jenny? What's wrong?
Well, Jack Benny isn't here, and I don't think he's coming.
Why? What happened?
Well, it's a long story. You see, when I found out that Jack was going to accompany me on his violin, I thought it was a good idea if we got together and rehearsed a little.
Yeah.
So I picked up the phone and dialed his number. Crestview 63812.
Mr. Benny's residence, star, stage, screen, radio, and delivers the Examiner in the Beverly Hills area. Who? Oh, hello, Miss Sims. No, Mr. Benny isn't here. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am, I'll tell him as soon as he comes in. Goodbye. Well, maybe I ought to sweep the floor before the boss gets home. No, I don't really need it. Oh, well, I might as well do it anyway. There, that does it. Now, let's see. What else can I... Oh, hello, Mr. Benny.
Hello, Rochester. Come on in the living room. I want to talk to you.
This is the living room. You just don't recognize it.
Oh, yes. Well, what do you know? We've got a rug in here. Say, Rochester, were there any calls for me?
Just one, Miss Jenny Sims.
Miss Sims?
Yeah, she said she's coming over here to rehearse that number you're supposed to do on the Elgin show.
Oh, well, why didn't you tell me? I better get my violin and limber up. Now, Rochester, you finish straightening up the house and get the rest of these things out of the living room. My shirt, my shoes, my socks, my garter belt. I mean my garter and my belt. And my bathrobe. Pick them up and get them out of this room.
Don't you want me to get your violin?
Yes, but I want you to get all my things out of this room.
I won't have to. You start playing and they'll be glad to leave by themselves.
Oh, stop exaggerating.
Exaggerating? Boss, the last time you played the violin, your tuxedo came out of the closet, tiptoed down the hall, went out the front door, and we haven't seen it since.
Rochester, will you stop being ridiculous? How could my tuxedo tiptoe down the hall and go out the front door?
That ain't the mystery. The thing that bothers me is, how did it leave that note on the hanger?
What note?
The one that says, I can go if I want to, I ain't paid for it.
Rochester, stop being so silly and bring me my violin.
Here you are, boss. Here you are.
Thanks. Better practice first before she gets here. Rochester, maybe it would help if you sang Miss Sims' part while I play.
I'll try to, boss.
Okay, let's go.
You'll never know just how much I miss you. You'll never know just how much I care.
Did Miss Sims just come in?
No, your brown suit just went out.
Rochester, stop kidding and let's get on with the show. Embassy Miss Sims now. I'll get it.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, Jenny. Come on in. My, Jenny, you look wonderful. Every time I see you, you're prettier.
Well, thank you, Jack. You look good, too. How do you keep so young?
Me young? Oh, Jenny, you're just being nice. I'm 36, and I feel every year of it.
Jack, are you really 36?
Well, I say I am, but I really won't be until February. Anyway, I'm glad you dropped over.
Oh, so am I. You know, Jack, this is a lovely house. You have one of the most beautiful homes in Southern California.
Well, thanks. You know, Jenny, in 3 more years, I'll own it.
Your home?
What?
Your home?
No, Southern California.
Chester?
Hello, Miss Sims.
Well, Jenny, I understand you came over to rehearse for our Elgin show.
Yes, I was told you were going to play the violin while I sang. And, well, frankly, Jack, I'm worried about it.
Worried? What's the matter, Jenny? Is your throat bothering you? I hope not.
Well, no, Jack, that isn't what I meant. Well, I hate to be this blunt about it, but I'm worried about your violin.
Worried about my violin?
Yes.
Silly girl. I mean, you don't have to worry about it. It's a genuine Stradivarius. I paid $18 for it. I got it on 3rd and Main, you know. Of course, when I got it, it had some spots and dirt on it, but that soil off is wonderful for it.
But, Jack, I still didn't mean that. You see, I'm worried about the way you play the violin.
You mean I'm a lousy violinist?
That's what the lady said.
Rochester, we don't need your help, do we, Jenny?
Not now. Well, Jack,
of course not, huh?
Jack,
what?
The thing that worries me is that, well, I've never sung before accompanied by just a violinist.
But, Jenny, it's not just a violinist, it's Benny. You know, I played the violin for Carol Landis in the South Pacific, and it went over great. By the way, the soldiers whistled and applauded when we came out on the stage. You'd think they'd never seen a violin before.
Well, now, maybe Carol had something to do with all that whistling and applauding. What was she wearing?
Well, that's the surprising thing about it. Carol wasn't even dressed up. She wore a sweater. Anyway, Jenny, let's rehearse our number and see how it works out.
Okay.
Oh, Rochester, while we're rehearsing, fix some sandwiches for us, will you?
Yes, sir. Do you want them on plain bread or raisin bread?
Plain bread.
Work. Now I gotta pick out the raisins.
All right, Jenny, let's get started, will you? Jenny, wait a minute, I want to get A. Could I have A? You, give me A on the piano. I'll have to get that piano tuned up. Jenny, you can accompany yourself on the piano while you sing, can't you?
Oh, sure.
Oh, fine. Let's go now.
You never know just how much I miss you. You never know just how much I care. And if I tried, I still couldn't hide my love for you.
I got the sandwiches, boy.
Quiet! Try that again, will you?
And if I tried, I still couldn't hide my love for you.
Mr. Van Jones.
When he uses my full name, he's mad.
I'm sorry, Jenny. Let's try it once again. Huh?
But, Jack, really, I don't think it's going to work out. Really, I don't.
What do you mean, Jenny?
Well, I don't know. You see, it's almost time for the broadcast, and we can't rehearse anymore.
Well, don't worry about it. We'll be terrific. We'll be a sensation.
Well, maybe you're right, Jack. Everything happens for the best.
Certainly, Jenny. I'll be with you in a minute. I'm going to run upstairs, put my violin in the case, and I'll be right down. Yada-da-dum-da-dum-dee-dum-bum-dee. Oh, darn it, I broke my violin.
You were right, Miss Sims. Everything happens for the best.
I hope you've all got on your best bib and tucker, because right now we're going to pinch hit for a fellow who's being kept pretty busy over near Saarbrücken. Let's look in on his family and see how things are going this Christmas Day. Well, we're in luck. Here's the whole family gathered around the Christmas tree in the living room. Little Judy, she's 4 now, is putting her new baby doll to sleep. Granddad is trying out his new briar pipe, and Mother, well, gee, fella, you didn't tell us your wife is so pretty and sweet. Well, she's sitting on the sofa, looking just the way you like to remember her. A blue dress with her hair all soft and curly around her face, and she's going to finish reading aloud your Christmas letter if Bobby will just let up on that new Christmas gum you wanted him to have.
Oh, Bobby, please. Don't you want to hear what Daddy says?
Bobby, you could beat that drum all day tomorrow. Here, come here. Climb up on Grandpa's lap. Here. That's a boy. Go on, Martha.
Oh, let's see, where was I? Oh, yes. Well, Daddy says, I hope you understand, dear, that memories are just about all we fellows have. And if they're happy memories, we get a kick out of reliving them. Well, I still chuckle when I remember how Judy's eyes fairly popped when she saw her Jack-in-the-Box last Christmas. And if I remember rightly, dearest, your eyes did a bit of popping, too, when I gave you your new Elgin watch. I can even remember what you said.
Oh, John. Oh, you shouldn't have. But I'm awfully glad you did.
And I'm awfully glad I gave you an Elgin watch last Christmas, too, dear. And every time you look at it, I hope you think of me and know how much I wanted to give you something equally lovely again this Christmas. But I'm afraid all I can send is my love. But you have every bit of that, always. Give my love to Dad, and give Bobby and Judy a big kiss. And may God bless us all till I get home.
And we hope that day will be soon for all of our fighting. In the meantime, we at Elgin are using our skill and experience to speed that happy day. And this is why there were fewer lovely star-timed Elgin watches available. But one day soon, your jeweler will have more of these fine American-made timepieces. And you'll be glad you waited for an Elgin.
Well, and gather, there's sure to be a musical organization of some kind, for music is one of the GI's favorite forms of relaxation. Third importance of music to the morale of fighting men, the armed forces have sponsored excellent musical organizations in the various branches of the service. Outstanding among these GI musical groups is an outfit known as the Swing Wing of the Army Air Force's Radio Production Unit in Santa Ana, California. Each of the men in the Swing Wing was a star in what is called the hot and groovy department of music. Today, each is also a member of the United States Army Air Forces. The Swing Wing takes off into the deep blue yonder with a particularly high-flying, really out-of-this-world arrangement of Bugle Call Rag. solid stuff, Ben. You know, I think that if the bugler would swing out that way on Reveille, he might even get to be popular. Don't you agree, Technical Sergeant Manny Klein?
No.
Well, what do you think the bugler should play to make him popular?
A harp.
Cool boy.
Well, there is one popular bugle call. Now listen.
What's that? Oh, it's not that bad.
Well, there's another call. There is another call that's particularly popular with Air Force men.
Well, let me hear it. Well, I'm sure you men don't need the bugler's help for that one. But, Benny, I'm surprised the bugler bothers you anymore. I should think by this time you'd be completely adjusted to Army life.
I am. I haven't had any trouble since my first week.
What happened then?
I was darn near arrested for impersonating an officer.
Why, what did you do?
Slept till 10 o'clock.
Since then, I trust things have been more to regulation?
Yeah. Now I'm learning how to be a sniper.
I didn't know the Air Corps had snipers.
Can you get cigarettes?
You weird, Manny, without any ifs, ands, or buts. Now, before you boys wrap up another number, could you tell us where the men in the group come from?
Well, we took one from Harry James, one from Benny Goodman, and one from Jimmy Dorsey.
I heard you also took one from Spike Jones.
Now, we didn't have to take him. He was glad to escape.
It is with this thought that Tech Sergeant Klein joins the rest of the boys in a sharp swing-wing treatment of all things, gems from the opera Carmen.
The Elgin Watch Company's third annual two-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces will continue after a brief pause for your station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KQW San Jose, the Columbia station for San Francisco, Oakland, and the Bay Area.
Elgin Watch Company's third annual Christmas party for our men and women in uniform throughout the world continues with holiday greetings from George Burns and Gracie Allen, Ginny Sims, Bob Hope, Carmen Miranda, Vera Vague, Bing Crosby, the Charioteers, the distinguished concert violinist Joseph Seghetti, Les Paul and his trio, an orchestra and chorus under the direction of Louis Silver, host for the entire 2 hours, Don Amici.
To those who have joined us in the past half hour, welcome to Elgin's third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces. The women who work and the men who fight for the principles he died to bequeath. The spirit of Christmas is with them at battle stations throughout the world, as it is with all of us throughout the United Nations today. We can be certain that faith, hope, hard work, and sacrifice will carry us on to final victory and, let us pray, enduring peace. Meanwhile, let's never forget, this war is far from won. There can be no complacency while we still know defeat. We have had success, we will have more, but these successes mean that what would be needed day after tomorrow are needed today. And so we stay on the job to see our fighting men and women through to final, complete, and unconditional victory and the peace to follow. We ask you to think of him whose birth we celebrate as the charioteers bring us the magnificent spiritual, Poor Little Jesus Boy.
To take our sins didn't know.
No Christmas is quite complete without at least one call on the neighbors. So come with me as Elgin makes it possible for us to meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Being a firm believer in carpooling, I offered to stop by this afternoon to pick up George and Gracie, and it seems I stepped right into the middle of a situation. To better understand it, let's go back several hours.
Hurry, Gracie. We have to leave for the Elgin broadcast pretty soon.
George, before we go, promise me something.
What?
Well, you're terribly talented, you know.
Yeah?
And this is Christmas.
Yeah?
So promise me you won't do your best today.
Won't do my best with Bob Hope, Don Amici, Bing Crosby, and Jack Benny then?
Well, that's why, dear. I wouldn't want you to make them look bad today.
Oh, Gracie.
Well, this is Christmas. You know, goodwill to men. And practically all four of those fellas are men.
But, honey, be sensible. If I had more talent than Hope, Amici, Crosby, and Benny, I'd be the biggest star in the world.
And you will be someday. In fact, people can't understand why you aren't right now.
Really?
Sure. Why, every time we walk down the street together, I hear someone say, I wonder what's holding him up.
I see.
Oh, you're loaded with talent, George. I'm just afraid you'll go down there today and embarrass those poor men.
Oh, honey, you just say that because you're my wife. What if you were married to Bob Hope? What if you were married to Don Amici? What if you were married to...
Wait a minute. I like to stay married to Don Amici a little longer.
Let's forget this silly notion.
Well, it's not a silly notion. Now, let's consider Hope for a minute. Sure, he's funny, but you can tell a joke much funnier than he can.
I cannot.
Oh, sure you can. Come on, tell a joke.
Oh, Gracie.
Oh, please, dear.
Well, okay. Here's one I heard at the club. Pretty funny. Two Irishmen met on a street corner, and one Irishman said, how come there are so many twins in your family?
Wonderful, George. That's wonderful. Much funnier than Hope.
Gracie.
Oh, you just watch. He'll have that on his program next Tuesday. That is, if Betty doesn't steal it first. Two Irishmen. You're dynamite.
I didn't finish the joke.
Oh, there's more?
Certainly. The second Irishman. There's so many twins in my family. My parents are from Dublin. You get it? Twins. Dublin.
Yeah. Well, that's good, but I like the first one better.
Yeah, that was a better joke, yeah.
Two Irishmen.
Yeah, the first one was a scream, yes.
Well, that proves you're better than Hope. Now, let's go to Don Amici.
Honey, be sensible. Don Amici is a great talent. That's why he's the master of ceremonies this afternoon.
Well, if you ask me, it's politics. Bob Hope probably got him the job to keep in good with him. You know, he makes a lot of money out of Amici.
Hope does?
Well, certainly. It takes a whole tube of that toothpaste to do Amici's teeth.
Anyway, you can't compare me with Amici. He's a great actor. Remember that picture we saw him in where he had that big love scene with Gene Tierney? I could never do that.
Are you kidding? They don't call you Volcano Lips Burns for nothing.
Oh, Gracie.
Oh, you're a great lover. Come on, George. Take me in your strong arms and press me to your manly stomach.
All right, now this has gone far enough. I know I'm not as funny as Hope, and I'm not the actor Amici is, so let's stop these ridiculous comparisons.
Well, I was just going to say that you sing better than Bing Crosby. Is that ridiculous?
It certainly is. I may sing as well, but certainly not.
Well, George, life is funny, isn't it? Now, here Bing is worried about Frank Sinatra when all the it's you he should worry about.
You think I'm better than Frankie, too?
Frank Sinatra couldn't hold a candle to you if he could lift one.
Gee, I'd love to have a program like Bing.
Well, believe me.
Down in the garden where the red rose
Well, you could take over his program and no one would ever know the difference.
Have you heard it lately?
Yes, he's got a new thing now. He doesn't have any applause from the audience. He thinks that's new. You started out and bought
Yeah, he stole my stuff. Well, I guess I could take over Bing's program, all right.
Well, sure. Well, you even built for it.
You have to be built a certain way?
Well, if you've seen Bing lately, you know what they mean when they talk about that cracked spread.
Well, it's true that I might stack up favorably against a singer like Bing Crosby, but not against fellas like Hope, Amici, and Benny.
Oh, modest boy. What has Benny got that you haven't got? I happen to know that Jack Benny never got past the 6th grade.
Really?
Well, sure. And your personality will more than make up for the 3 grades he has on you.
Thanks, kid.
Come in.
Hello, Gracie. Hello, George.
Oh, it's Don Amici. Hello, Don.
Merry Christmas, Don.
Same to the both of you.
We were talking about that love scene you did with Gene Tierney.
Yes, and I told George that he could have done it better.
Well, yes, but when he could have done it better, there was no Gene Tierney.
Well, anyway, just to satisfy my curiosity, will you make love to me right now?
Oh, but, what about George?
No, make love to me. Prove to myself that George is better. Now, come on, do that thing you did with Gene Tierney.
Well, okay. Oh, my darling. Let me take you in my arms and crush you to me.
Oh, Don.
Oh, I'll never let you go. Never, never.
Don.
How I've longed to kiss those luscious lips. There.
Well, Gracie? Hey, Gracie.
Oh, what, George?
Do you still think I'm better?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. You're better than Hope, Crosby, and Benny.
At one anxious period of the war, the production of jewel bearings was listed among our country's 6 most critical needs. Our imports of jewels were cut off. And yet jewels are vital in precision instruments without which no plane could fly, no ship navigate. The instruments of a single battleship require no less than 5,000 jewels. Well, America, calling on the genius of its industry, got out of that awful jam, and the Elgin Watch Company became the largest producer of fine instrument jewels in the nation. And this is only one example of how Elgin and outmakers turn quickly and effectively to production for war. In addition to jewel bearings, famous Elgin craftsmanship is producing many types of service watches, mechanical time fuses for anti-aircraft shells, marine chronometers, aviation clocks, and a vast array of timing devices for our armed forces. It's the reason why your jeweler had so few of the beautiful star-timed Elgin watches to show you this Christmas. Why you saw so many strangely named foreign-made watches trying to take the place of these American-made Elgins. And so it will be till Elgin has completed its war tasks. But then there will again be Elgins for all who want a superbly fine watch. And you'll be glad you waited for an Elgin.
It may sound a bit strange to some of you GIs, but one of the nicest people we know is a sergeant, the lovely and charming Sergeant Ginny Sims.
The sergeant opened this Elgin Christmas party, and many of you hear regularly on a Tuesday evening radio show for men in the service. The rating was bestowed on Ginny by the United States Marine Corps, but she's a favorite with men in all branches of the service, perhaps because her sincerity and charm remind them of the girls they've left behind. To all those gals from their fellows overseas, Ginny sings, "Wish You Were Waiting For Me."
I were someone. Wish you were waiting for me. Walking back and forth, kind of worried, wondering where that someone can be. Gee, I wish I were someone. Gee, I wish I were someone. Wish you were waiting for me. I see it clearly. Your arms around me, I thrill to your touch. I see it clearly. Me, I dream tonight. If I only had you to run to, honest, I'd never let you go free. Gee, I wish I were someone. You were waiting for me. La 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 la
We live today in a fast-moving and fast-changing world in which so much is happening all around us, so much that is strange, incredible, or startling that, try as we may, we find it difficult to keep up with the times. That is why the Elgin Watch Company brings you Freeling Foster's Keep Up with the World on another network. Beginning next Wednesday, this program will be heard at a new time. It will be based, as usual, on amazing, almost unbelievable facts recorded in Mr. Foster's world-famous column in Collier's Magazine. Today we bring you one of these timely, interesting stories. You'll hear Don Amici as Roy Bradshaw, and with Don will be Joel Davis as his son Michael, Ann Stone as his wife, and Tyler McVeigh as the commanding officer.
From India to China, over the snow-capped Himalayas, is flown the greatest airline ever built by Milton. Eastward, it carries in supplies to a hard-fighting ally. westward, it carries out the wounded back to India and safety. Day and night, the planes fly, good weather and bad, over the highest mountains in the world. I know the danger in that perilous route because I faced it. One Christmas Eve, 2 hours out from our China base, I was flying a cargo of wounded men bound to India. Christmas Eve. It should have been different from other nights, and it was. The snow and sub-zero weather were threatening to seal our doom, cutting our visibility to zero, sheathing our wings in a film of ice. Suddenly, the ship began to lose altitude. 17,000, 16,000, 15,000, until we were down to 14,000 feet. The mountains were still ahead of us, invisible and menacing. There was only one pass low enough to get through, a narrow gorge with walls that totaled 3,000 feet. The compass was swinging wildly from the bumpy air. There was nothing I could see to guide me. There was nothing I could do but hope and pray that a merciful God would help me bring those wounded men to safety. And as so often happens in a crisis, my thoughts flashed back to home, to that last Christmas Eve with Ruth and Michael. Well, there you are, Ruth. Now, how's that for a Christmas tree? Complete with decorations.
Oh, it's lovely, Roy. The prettiest Christmas tree we've ever had.
And if I do say so myself, the skill that has gone into those decorations represents a great and sympathetic knowledge of the art of trimming Christmas trees.
But, Daddy, you forgot something.
Forgot something. Now, Michael, are you sure?
Uh-huh. Something mighty important.
Oh, maybe he means that China angel that we had last year.
No, it wasn't the China angel.
No? Well, then what did I forget?
The star, that's what. The star that goes on top.
Oh, by Jove, he's right.
Well, of course he's right. Roy Bradshaw, I'm surprised at you.
Well, I'm surprised at myself. Most important thing of all. Oh, here it is. There. Now, how does it look?
Oh, it's lovely.
Why do they always put a star on top, Daddy?
Well, it's a special Christmas star. It represents the Star of Bethlehem.
What's the Star of Bethlehem?
Come on over here, son. Now, you sit down here, and I'll tell you all about that. Yes, boy. Well, about 2,000 years ago, some very wise men lived in a land that was next to a country called Judea.
What's Judea?
That's where Bethlehem is, dear. The place where Jesus was born.
That's right. And this story begins about the time that he was born. You see, these wise men, they were wise enough to know that the world would be a very much better place if someone good and kind, and even wiser than they were, would come and lead them. So, every night they watched the stars.
Why'd they watch the stars?
Because they felt this person, this new prince of men, would come from heaven. And then, one night, they saw a new star that was brighter than any star ever seen before. And being wise men, they knew this meant the king had come to earth at last, and the star had come to lead them to him.
But how could a star lead anybody? Stars don't move.
Oh, but this star did. Or maybe it just seemed to. Anyway, they went toward it. And when they came to Bethlehem, right under the star, they found the place where the baby Jesus was. And they knew that everything they had been waiting for and praying for had come to pass. And the star had been their guide. So, you see, that was a pretty important star as stars go.
I'll say. Was it real?
How do you mean?
Was the Star of Bethlehem a real star?
Well, sure.
Well, then let's go outside and you can show it to me.
Oh, well, son, it isn't there now.
It isn't there now? Christmas Eve?
Well, no.
You mean it's burnt out?
Oh, no, dear. It would never burn out.
Then why can't I see it?
Well, son, you can't always see things, but they're real just the same. And, of course, the Star of Bethlehem might have been perhaps a comet, or let's say...
I believe I have a better answer, Roy. Michael, that the Star of Bethlehem is more real than any other star there is. But you've got to have faith to see it, just as the wise men had faith.
Thank you, darling. Those are the words I was trying to find. You see, Michael, the Star of Bethlehem is real. Just as real today as it was 2,000 years ago to the people who have faith. To them, it burns as brightly and as high as ever.
run from China into India, we got through. Through with our wings just barely clearing the narrow gorge. Through with a dozen wounded men we'd brought to India in safety. We said a prayer of thanks as we saw the beacons of the airport and another for good measure as our wheels touched solid ground. I went at once to report to our operations officer and found him waiting for us in the small shack.
Well, good work, Bradshaw. I heard you got through.
Yes, it was pretty tough in spots, sir.
Well, don't I know it. The planes on the eastern run just barely took off and we're back again. You must have done a skillful job on navigation.
Well, I had some luck.
Well, you need more than luck.
Yeah, this was more than the average. Close to the pass, the storm broke for a minute, and we saw a star about 35 degrees southeast. I know a little about celestial navigation. I knew that Sirius was due east on our course, so I took a chance that was it.
Sirius?
That's right, sir. I veered 35 degrees southeast and cleared the pass with just an inch or so to spare. If I hadn't had that break, we'd be piled up against those mountains now.
Are you kidding?
No, sir, I'm not kidding.
I mean, about Sirius.
No, that's the only bright star in that area.
Well, that's right. Only from 9 o'clock on, Sirius is below the horizon, out of sight.
Out of sight?
I'm afraid you were right the first time, Bradshaw. You. There's no visible star that would be due east on your course.
Star in the east.
More real than any other star. If you have faith.
If you have faith.
The Elgin Watch Company's third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces will continue after a brief pause for your station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KQW San Jose, the Columbia station for the San Francisco Bay Area.
The Elgin Watch Company's third annual Christmas party for our men and women of the armed forces and shortwave to them in hundreds of far corners of the world starts its second full hour. In the next 60 minutes, you'll hear Bob Hope, Carmen Miranda, Bing Crosby, the distinguished concert violinist Joseph Seghetti, the Charioteers, Vera Vague, Les Paul and his trio, an orchestra and chorus under the direction of Louis Silvers, and your host for the full 2 hours, Don Amici.
To those who may have just joined Elgin's third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our uniformed forces, to you men and women who are fighting for the right to celebrate our future Christmases in peace, and to all the peoples of the United Nations, each artist Ken Carpenter just mentioned, the Elgin Watch Company and I extend sincere wishes for the merriest Christmas possible. The good neighbors of our sister Americas to the south are joined with us today as they are each year on this occasion. To them we say, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Natal. We of the Americas can be proud that we have set an example for the world with our good neighbor policy, and one of the reasons for the success of this policy is the mutual exchange of gifted artists. Of all the fine artists sent us, none has been better received than the charming, gracious, and lovely Carmen Miranda. To our many friends south of the border, and to the men and women serving in the Caribbean theater of operation, Carmen Miranda sings one of the delightful samba rhythms of her native Brazil, Tico Tico.
O tico-tico tá outra vez aqui. O tico-tico tá comendo meu fubá. O tico-tico tenta que se alimenta e vai comer umas minhas para não fumar. O tico-tico tá outra vez aqui. O tico-tico tá comendo meu fubá. O tico-tico tenta que se alimenta e vai comer umas minhas para não fumar. Mas por favor, tira esse bicho do celeiro, porque ele acaba comendo o fubá inteiro. Tira esse tico de cá de cima do meu fubá. Tem tanta coisa que ele pode pinicar. Eu já fiz tudo para ver se conseguia. Tomei ao bicho para ver se ele comia. Botei um gato, um espantalho boa alimentação. O tico-tico-tá tá outra vez aqui. O tico-tico tá comendo meu fubá. Se o tico-tico tenta que se alimenta e vai comer umas minhocas no fubá. O tico-tico-tico-tico tá outra vez aqui. O tico-tico tá comendo meu fubá. Se o tico-tico tenta que se alimenta e vai comer umas minhocas no fubá. Mas por favor, tira esse bicho do celeiro, porque ele acaba comendo o fubá inteiro. Tira esse tico de cá de cima do meu fubá. Fiz outra coisa que ele pode pinicar. Eu já fiz tudo para ver se conseguia. Também eu fiz para ver se ele comia. Botei um gato, um espantalhinho, tá mas ele acha que fubá é que é boa alimentação. O tico-tico tá outra vez aqui. O tico-tico tá comendo meu fubá. Se o tico-tico tenta que se alimenta e vai comer umas minhocas no fubá. O tico-tico tá outra vez aqui. O tico-tico tá comendo meu fubá. Se o tico-tico tenta que se alimenta e vai comer umas minhocas no fubá.
Carmen, that was wonderful. I love that song.
Oh, thank you, Don. I like Tico Tico too, you know, but I like better the trolley song. Clang, 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 when the trolley ding, ding, ding.
Why'd you stop?
This is where I get off.
Better wait until you get your transfer. And while you're waiting, Carmen, I must tell you that I think your new 20th Century Fox picture really has something for everybody.
Oh, Don, you're so good to me. You know, I like your pictures very much, too. I go to all of them.
Just because I'm in them?
No, because I'm in them.
My fan.
But I do like you very, very much, Don.
Careful, Carmen. Your boyfriend may not like that.
My boyfriend do not mind anything, Don. He's a light-hearted, a true South American.
South American, huh?
Yeah.
Are you sure of your English?
Yes, but I'm not sure of my boyfriend.
Is he kind of hard to get along with?
Oh, no. He always compliments on my hats, you know.
Ah, yes. Those hats covered with bananas, peaches, plums, apricots, and apple dumplings.
Yes.
They always fascinate me, too. Where do you get them? Lily Daché?
The A&P.
Carmen, have you ever tried growing them yourself?
No, but I may, you know. Fresh fruit is so hard to get those days.
What isn't? But why do you Brazilian girls wear fruit in your hats?
We like to bet. When we say, I lose, if I lose, I eat my hat.
That way you avoid indigestion, of course. Yeah. And why do you wear such blazing colors?
Oh, we like to strike a spark. We want to attract the attention.
Sort of carrying clothes to Newcastle.
See, but hot stuff, huh?
That must help. Anyway, you're mighty popular, Carmen, with servicemen I've talked to.
And they are so wonderful to me, Don. I can really appreciate them at the hospitals, but I thank for men under the overseas.
Well, I bet they all agree that you're a really good neighbor. Did they understand Brazilian songs?
Yes, but to show them they am a hat kitten, a swallow the jitterbug. I sang a jive song, too, Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
Oh, well, that's one of our favorites, too. So let's have the boys in the band warm up the engine, and we'll all buy fares for a ride with Carmen Miranda on the Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
Vou explicar que é o Chattanooga Choo-Choo. Choo-Choo é um trem que vai me levar perto de alguém. Pois numa estação que passa o Chattanooga Choo-Choo, eu vou saltar se você for mesmo se o trem não parar. E você pega o trem na Pennsylvania Station às 3 horas e tal. Pouco a pouco vai saindo da capital. Toma um cafezinho, tira uma pestana e come os menegues lá em Carolina. Pro americano trabalhei toda bar. Para o brasileiro está querendo sambar. Bum, que bum, baramba, bum, 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 bum. Bum, que bum, baramba, bum, 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 bum. Pois o maquinista conta. Oh, Chattanooga Dariua, eu vou encontrar. Porque alguém que vai me espera na estação. Um certo alguém. Aí o seu corpo fez, pois tem cara de sponsor 3. Quero chegar, pois sei que lá vai ser pra lá de bom. São Chattanooga, chuchu, want to chuchu, want to chuchu me home. Chattanooga, 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 cha-cha. Chattanooga, 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 cha-cha. Chattanooga, cha-cha. Chattanooga, cha-cha. Ha-cha, ha-cha, ha-cha. Ah, chuchu.
Buena Carmen Miranda. When the Chattanooga Choo-Choo pulled into the station, it had Elgin's next guest aboard. The distinguished violinist Joseph Szigeti, fresh from a concert tour of Canada and the eastern United States. Millions of music lovers know and admire Joseph Szigeti's artistry through his recordings and appearances on the concert stage and radio. To act dirty, Mr. Szigeti recently made his first screen appearance in the picture Hollywood Canteen for Warner Brothers. Accompanied by Harry Kaufman at the Baldwin, Joseph Szigeti plays for us now the brilliant Tartini Variations arranged by Chrysler. Mr. Szigeti. That was superb, Joseph Szigeti. I hope I'm not being forward when I ask if it's true that most concert stars have some protege.
Yes, that's true.
Do you know some undiscovered potential genius of the violin?
I do.
Oh, and is he talented?
Amazing technique.
And young?
Very young.
And what's his name?
Jack Benny.
Oh, of course. You made your movie debut recently with Jack. That must have been fun.
Lots of laughs.
At his jokes?
At his fiddle playing.
Yes. I'm sure Jack could pick up a few musical pointers by listening well as Joseph Szigeti plays Tchaikovsky's lovely Valse Sentimentale.
Herself. From fire control goes the order to the gun crews.
Enemy aircraft approaching. Bearing 068. Position angle 48. Altitude 8000. Speed 300. Use 6.4 seconds.
Number 1, 5-inch. Manned and ready, sir.
The enemy planes draw closer. Sally's, Betty's, jet dive bombers. Comes the order, commence firing. And then around the enemy aircraft forms the picture you've seen in the newsreels, the deadly mushroom pattern of exploding ack-ack. How can our gunners hit targets that streak through the skies at 300 miles an hour? The answer is the gunner's skill plus precision equipment. American skill born of long and careful training. And an ingenious mechanical fuse, also American, which can be quickly adjusted to time the burst of an ack-ack shell to within mere hundredths of a second. This fuse, more accurate than any previously known, owes its improved performance to 3 scientists at this company. For their work, they've been awarded the highest citation for individual war production merit given by our government. And the same devotion to excellence marks Elgin's manufacture of all the other war-essential precision instruments and timing devices now coming from the world's largest fine watch factory. So you can understand why Elgin has been unable to replenish jeweler stocks of its fine American-made watches. But after victory, your jeweler will proudly display Elgin watches for everyone. New watches so beautifully styled and dependably accurate, you'll be glad you waited for an Elgin.
Composers, like poets, frequently base their works on description of the things they see and hear in the world about them. Mr. Les Paul, a young composer and former GI, finds it difficult to resist the urge to write music of the While he was in the Army, he was so impressed with the constant building up and tearing down done by the engineers that he wrote a composition describing their activity. Les Paul and his fine trio, with Les at the electric guitar, play it for us. Danger, Men at Work. Bravo, Les Paul. Nice work. Elgin's next guest is a lovely young lady known far and wide for her engaging charm and air of rare refinement. Her delicacy and distinction of manner have made her one of the most sought-after women of her generation. She's an authority on many subjects, brilliant conversationalist. You've doubtless heard her soft, mellifluous voice many times on Bob Hope's Twilight Study Hour. That vivacious, volatile, vibrant little lady, Miss Vera Vague.
Thank you and Merry Christmas, Mr. Nietzsche. Oh, Noel. Christmas time, I don't know, I'm so happy. I just love everybody. Anyway, half of everybody, the male half.
I suspected, Miss Vague, it was something more romantic than just the Christmas holiday that brought that sparkle to your eyes.
Oh, you're so right, Mr. Nietzsche. Only this morning, my boyfriend Waldo told me that possibly I'll be the next cover girl of the country.
Oh, really?
Yes. I suppose you've heard of Chilly Williams.
Oh, yes, of course.
Meet Beans Vague.
Miss Vague, how did you meet your boyfriend, Waldo?
Waldo? Well, I didn't exactly meet him. I overtook him. He's such a sweet boy, really. This morning, there he was waiting for me with the mantle when I came downstairs. Look, Vera, he called your Christmas stockings are all filled with walnuts. Made me so mad.
Oh, but why?
Oh, I was wearing them at the time.
Well, hope he gave you a nice Christmas present to make up for that remark.
Oh, yes, he did, really. He gave me a beautiful present, something that he invented himself. It's a remarkable thing. An umbrella with a window in it.
What's it for?
Well, it's a great help. You see, you can look out the window and see who you're poking in the eye.
Well, Miss Vague, I must say you're looking awfully well these days. I just love that gown.
Oh, do you like it?
Oh, yes.
It's nice of you to say that because I'm such a naughty girl around Christmas time. I just gorge myself with goodies. Consequently, my figure gets unpredictable. You know, all my dresses get that LSMFT look.
Just what is that?
So round, so firm, so fully packed.
As you know, Miss Vague, it's our hope that you'll be kind enough to give us your ideas on Christmas and Christmas customs from the various woman's angles.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's what I was going to do. Yes, well, I'd be happy to.
All right.
But any comments on Yuletide, I think, should begin with a word about Santa Claus. That jolly old man who rides in a sleigh drawn by a number of deer named Dunder, Blitzen, Dancer, Prancer, Dasher, and Van Johnson.
Pardon me, Miss Vague, but Van Johnson is not a deer.
That's a man's viewpoint for you.
Terribly sorry I interrupted. Continue, please.
Oh, thank you. I will. Let's see. Where was... Oh, yes. At Christmas time, you know, a very old custom is to decorate the house with various Yuletide ornaments. I know I do. You put up mistletoe, holly leaves, mistletoe, pine boughs, mistletoe, and more mistletoe.
Miss Vague, you seem to be stuck under the mistletoe.
Well, can you think of a better place? Shame on me. Now, let's get down to earth again here. Oh, yes. One of our most charming traditions is the sharing of holiday beverages with friends. I livened things up this year by using a 17th century Celtic recipe and making my Tom and Jerry's.
Oh, and how were they? Pretty strong?
Well, I'm not sure, but after 3 of them, Tom wasn't speaking to Jerry.
Miss Vague, I think people would like to know whether Christmas customs have changed much.
No, they haven't changed a bit.
Well, now, Miss Vague, I think you're wrong. Things are really quite different from the days of our Pilgrim Fathers, for instance, when they had to tramp around for days hunting for a turkey.
Mr. Amici, who did your marketing this year? Incidentally, Mr. Amici, the first turkey, this is very, very interesting. The first turkey was served for Christmas in 1524. Oddly enough, potatoes weren't served till 1856, so you can see the first person to say pass, the potatoes had quite a weight. I think that was the origin of the expression cold turkey. But anyway, thank you. Enough of current and past traditions. Would you care to hear about my holiday ideas for the post-war period?
Yes, Miss Vague. What did you do after Lee surrendered?
Oh, you dear boy. I hope you got a pincushion for Christmas. Something to lay your little pinhead on.
Oh, no.
No, I didn't mean it. I knew there was something I wanted to ask your advice about. I forgot to get a present for my Uncle Filbert. Have you any last-minute suggestions? I was going to get him a pipe, but he has one already, an enormous one.
Well, he might like to have a pouch.
Oh, no, he's already got an enormous one. I see, but... I almost forgot something. I've got to run along, Mr. Meach. I'm giving at a party at home this afternoon for 250 servicemen. It's going to be a very gala affair.
Why, Miss Vague, that is wonderful. 250.
250.
How many girls have you invited?
Girls? Oh, silly me. I knew I forgot something.
The Elgin Watch Company's third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces will continue after a brief pause for your station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KQW San Jose, the Columbia station for San Francisco, Oakland, and the Bay Area.
Sports Company's third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces on duty at battle stations everywhere continues with warmest holiday greetings from Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, the Charioteers, an orchestra and chorus under the direction of Louis Silvers, and your host for the full 2 hours, Don Amici.
Some of you may have been late in joining Elgin's third annual 2-hour Christmas party. So I repeat to you men and women of our armed forces and to all of you at home, best wishes for the merriest Christmas possible. Our thoughts and prayers are with those men and women who are fighting today so that each of us may have the right to worship as he chooses, which, in the last analysis, is the right to celebrate the spirit of Christmas. A part of the Christmas spirit is a spirit of giving. And one of the artists who gives most lavishly of himself to our men and women in uniform is with us today. He's visited battle-weary GIs in England, North Africa, and many island outposts in the South Pacific. He's entertained at camps and hospitals throughout the country. And with all this, he still finds time to nourish radio listeners with his Tuesday evening omelet. I refer, of course, to the only man in the world who has to look up to look down his nose, Bob Hope.
Down, relatives, down. They throwing cigarettes, and I thought I was working for nothing. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob Christmas Present Hope, telling all you jitterbugs to get one of those Elgins with that accurate tick-tocking, and when you go to the Palladium, you'll be dancing with a dolly with a hole in her stocking. That's the finish. All right. Don't force a thing. There was a hole in the gag, too. Or, this is Bob Elgin Hope telling you to brush your teeth with you-know-what, and you'll have a face that won't stop a clock. That satisfies my sponsor. Am I on next week's sponsor, huh? Christmas morning in California. Outside, the sun was shining, while inside we sat around the trees, stoking our smudge pot. But I love the wonderful spirit of Christmas. People exchanging presents unselfishly with their dear friends and relatives. I lost $3.67 in the whole deal. And we had a white Christmas here in Hollywood. This morning, the president of the Chamber of Commerce ran up Hollywood Boulevard spraying talcum powder out of a flit gun. Thank you, tourists. All you could hear on the radio this weekend is Bing singing White Christmas. He's the only man who can entertain and give frost warnings at the same time. But everything in Hollywood is done in the spirit of Christmas. If you get hit by a car while crossing the street, they send you home wrapped as a gift. I just mailed some Christmas packages back east. Everybody else had to mail theirs December the 10th, but I sent mine yesterday, and they got there in plenty of time. Thanks, Eleanor. And don't think the manpower shortage didn't hit the Santa Claus situation this year. I saw one Santa Claus in a department store hitting a little boy, and I said, that's no way for Santa Claus to act. And Santa said, I can do anything I want. I'm this boy's mother. You'll be dancing with a dolly with a hole in her stocking. Of course, the soldiers love Christmas because during the holidays, the commanding officers choose certain guys and grant them furloughs. Choose certain guys and grant them furloughs. That's an Army expression meaning eeny, meeny, miny, there ain't no mo. Thank you, defenders. And this Christmas spirit of fellowship and goodwill has affected all the members of our armed forces. I even saw a sailor and a Marine shaking hands today. What a sight. You could hear the bones cracking for $2. Let me finish for 2 blocks. That's the finish. My relatives had a swell time eating Christmas dinner today at my house. Boy, did they eat. They came in looking like Abbott Costello. What relatives? They eat like Winchell talks. What relatives? They eat like Winchell talks. That's No. Just wanted to give it another chance before I buried it. Dancing with a dolly with a hole in his stomach. But there's a strong family attachment between my relatives. They won't eat anything closer than the third cousin. But I received some nice presents. You get them later, enjoy them longer. But I received some nice presents for Christmas. I got a dandy. My brother sent me a check for $100. All I have to do is sign it. And you should have seen us. The choir's on my side, too. And you should have seen the huge present that my sponsor sent out by Special Air Express. He really shouldn't have done it after all. What if it had gone off in the airplane? And, Paramount was swell. They gave me, Crosby, and Dorothy Lamour a dresser set. Dorothy got the mirror, Crosby got the comb, and they gave me the brush. I understand Sinatra's new sponsor gave him a sensible and timely present. It's a microphone that'll hold on to him. I should have opened with you doll. Crosby and Sinatra went around singing Christmas carols under windows together, and they had special arrangements. After every chorus, of course, I know what Bing wanted most for Christmas, but where can you get a decent girdle that size? And for Christmas presents, Crosby tried to buy some stockings that wouldn't run. The salesgirl laughed and said, "We haven't any to fit your horses." And you know, they're closing every racetrack in the country on January the 3rd for a year. That's to give all of Crosby's horses a chance to come in. But I did get one wonderful Christmas card from Dorothy Lamour with a picture of her and a sarong on it. What a picture. Well, you know how George Washington looked straight ahead on a 2-cent stamp? Well, in this envelope, he kept peeking over his shoulder. But there's somebody peeking over my shoulder, and it's the outstanding singer of the present day. It says here, Mr. Bing Crosby.
Give me land, lots of land, from the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you, please, don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences and gaze at the moon till I lose my senses. It hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze and listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you, please, don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me saddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze up at the moon until I lose my senses. Can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. No, no, Papa, don't you fence me in.
He's good. What's his name? Why didn't you sing Dancing with a Dolly with a Hole in His Eye? That was wonderful. Maybe I'm just full of the old holiday spirit, but you know, that didn't sound bad at all for a man your age.
You still considered yourself a boy when you were my age.
At least I never played Ring Around the Rosie with Cleopatra.
This is hardly the place. Hardly the time or place to discuss what you played with Cleopatra.
Well, look, he's got Broadway Rose writing for him now.
Say, Tallow, let's nix the needles, huh, Noodle Nose?
I guess so.
After all,
okay, Marshall Dome, come in.
You know, I'm doing a double act with Sinatra next year.
You are, really?
Yes, we're going out to play some of the camps, sing some songs, sing duets, fine double act.
Well, I think it's nice to have a fellow from each generation. What are you, What'd you say? You're going to do a double act with old No Blood, huh? Well, tell me, it'll be a nice act, no blood and no hair. I think it'll be good. What are you going to call the act?
You just told me. On Christmas, you still.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot you had to answer something like that. It's all right. Say,
no kidding. Say, Blub, no kidding.
But I want to tell you.
Let's just be nice. Christmas
yes,
only with us.
I don't think you should knock Sinatra.
No,
because I want to tell you, singers like Sinatra come once in a lifetime.
That's right. Why did he have to come in my lifetime?
No, now wait even. Go ahead.
That's not true.
That's a yak a piece there.
You know what they say about him being weak and gaunt?
We're going to look at the paper once in a while, aren't we?
What time are we off the air?
How many minutes do you need, Dad?
You know what they say about him being weak and gaunt and emaciated? That's not true. He's a powerful boy.
He's a powerful boy.
He's loaded. I saw him playing with a yo-yo one day, and the yo-yo was standing still and Frankie was going up.
Oh, that's a funny joke. I even liked it on my show.
I only have happy holiday thoughts about Frankie.
You have it, really?
Yes. Around Christmastide, I mellow, I spread out, I mix, really I do. I find I still believe there's a Santa Claus.
Well, you should, getting picture work with those ears. What time are you coming in for a landing, old man?
Flaps down.
Get born with the flaps down.
Wilco.
Look like a loving cup with skin. Go.
You're so bitter, really you are.
I'm not bitter at all.
Why don't you pull in your paunch and try to enter into the spirit of the day?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Where's that? Is that in here?
Yes.
Where? I don't see that. Oh, yes, here's something, Jolly. Through here. Let's go into here. I'll bet we had people listening up to here, huh? Well, let me. Wait till I give you my. Wait till I give you my answer. It says here.
I think Buller will walk here after this.
Did you ask Santa Claus for something good at Santa?
Certainly did. This very morning I dressed up like Santa. Gave the kids a great kick when I put a pillow in my pants.
Well, Christmas over now. Take it out, brother.
Say, old folks, come here.
Did you call me Fuzzridge?
I suspect it's you that's been putting ideas in my Sprout's noggins.
You mean they didn't go for your story about Santa Claus being drafted, huh?
They don't take to Christmas customs the way they used to.
You mean they didn't even hang up their stockings?
No stockings.
No stockings?
Bobby socks, they have.
Well, let Frankie have his Bobby sock fans. You still have the corset crowd. But tell me, Knucklehead, isn't it true that Sinatra is your son?
That's a lie, hose nose, and I can prove it. I can prove it.
What is it?
Easily, I can prove it easily. Would any son treat his father this way, really?
Oh, that must have been quite a blow to you, that closing of all the racetracks, huh, Bing?
It's going to set you back 6 or 7 programs, too. I
You're right, it's going to set you back. It's going to give you a lot more work over the glue factory, though. I know that.
No, really, seriously, I think I'll give up racing.
You are, really?
Mm-hmm.
Those nags finally sold you on their way of living, huh?
No, seriously, I've given up the horses.
Time cutting up the blankets, did you?
Are you inferring, Fester Head, that I can... Got my clothes from the Salvation Army?
Oh, you can't say that. I know you can't. Took my line. I had it in my... Get J. Edgar Hoover on the phone.
I tell what I do. I'll get the top.
It's wonderful what they're making out of Bull Durham sacks, isn't it?
Did I take your line?
Yes, you did.
I tell what I tell.
You can have it. If that's all you can get with it, okay.
I'll tell the top sergeant to punch your TS card the next time he comes.
He's so technical now that he's in the wax, isn't he? Wonderful.
Look, despite your added tongue and your chronic irascibility, I've been telling...
You can't say that on the radio. Now you
Look, Rab, I've told everyone in educational your latest picture is.
You really think my picture is educational?
Well, it must be. I heard the producer himself say, well, that one teaches me a lesson.
It just so happens, Double Dome, that people like the preview so well I was offered a lead in the Dough Girls.
Oh, good part for you too with that bread basket. Fine.
Look who's talking. Why, you can't stand around on street corners at Christmas time without people trying to throw pennies in your pot.
Oh, you're cruel. You're so cruel. You're so bitter. I have a good notion not to give you what I was going to give you.
You mean you really kept me in mind this year?
Oh, mais oui, certainement. I said to myself, nothing is too good for hope.
So what did you get?
Nothing.
My usual present, huh? I might have known. Once a Crosby, always a Crosby.
Don't say that. That's not fair to my family. After all, this morning my brother Everett handed me a nice fat check.
You mean you'd forgotten to endorse it?
You're just full of pretty light.
I had that in my monologue. I forgot that joke. Got to get the same writer working on both spots. Go ahead.
You're just full of monkey shines, aren't you?
Yes, sir, boy. And just to show you it's all in fun, come have Christmas dinner at my house, Bing.
I'll never forget the year I did that. Believe me, Bent Beak, you carry your loyalty to your sponsor much too far.
Well, how do you mean?
Where else do the guests have to squeeze dressing out of a tube?
I got the idea watching you strain the gravy through a piece of Swiss cheese.
That's enough, turret tummy. Enough.
Oh! Look, Highhead, what,
you got the new script.
That says here pretzel ears. Pretzel
You're
ears.
going to say that or something. Ears and everything.
Well, who else has to wear his hat side saddle?
Who else has to put his nose up in curl papers?
Is that so? I'll have you know there's a deal on to trade me for Van Johnson. And do you know who started it?
Your wife.
Please. I'll tell you when. What a cad you are, Agate Head. And by the way, where do you think you're getting singing that White Christmas all the time? One warm day, and what have you got? It's amazing. What'd you do, bring the Kraft choir over here?
The biggest.
Kids singing that White Christmas all the time. One warm day, and what have you got? Slush.
But seriously, Bing, all year we've been knocking each other and cutting each other up.
Yeah.
But you know, I have a feeling it's going to be different in 1945.
You want to bet? Figure out some reasonable price on that whilst the charioteers and I fill in with a little bit of...
Call me, I'll be in the glue.
Yes, leave a call. What time is it? What day is it? Go ahead, fellas.
Voices hum, crooning over moonlight bay. Banjos strum, tuning while the moonbeams play. All alone they find me with the girl I left behind me.
Anybody know the next line? Please remind me. Down on Moonlight Bay. Fits, it fits.
You need me?
We were sailing along.
We were sailing along
on Moonlight Bay.
On Moonlight Bay.
You could hear the voices singing
sweetly.
They seemed to say, talk to me, Wilbur, talk to me. You have stolen my heart.
You have stolen my heart.
Now don't go away.
Now don't go away.
As we sang love's old sweet song on Moonlight Bay. We were sailing along.
Sailing along
on Moonlight Bay.
On Moonlight Bay.
You could hear the voice. They seemed to say, you have stolen my heart.
Stolen my heart.
Now don't go.
Now don't go away.
As we sang love's old sweet song on Moonlight Bay.
Yes, we sang love's old sweet songs on Moonlight Bay.
Taking off from a carrier, dropping your bombs on the target is not the whole job. There's the job of getting back home to your carrier. And that's been moving fast while you've been flying. Where will she be when you can reach her? Well, you tell by navigation, and time is the essence of your calculation. A remarkable instrument for telling what day it is now on your side of the international date line, what time it is now, how many minutes have elapsed since you took off, how much longer your gas supply will last. A precision instrument that's a calendar, a chronograph, and an elapsed time clock all in one is on the instrument panel of many of our Navy's fighter planes. Elgin is making them, making also pocket chronographs, special timers, service watches of many types, and other special precision instruments and timing devices for every branch of the service. The Elgin Watch Company's research, Elgin's equipment, the skill of Elgin master craftsmen, all are devoted to the winning of the war, and so they will be until the war is won. Frankly, there are very few Elgin watches for civilians. But hold fast to your desire for one of these fine American-made timepieces. When they come, they'll be beautiful, and you'll be glad you waited.
Each year on Elgin's Christmas tribute to our uniformed forces, Mr. Potter, president of the Elgin Watch Company, sends a message of hope and cheer to the men and women in the service of their country. This year, an editorial written by Arthur Robinson in a California country newspaper came to Mr. Potter's attention, and he feels that the editorial says everything that is in his heart and that he would like to say. So he's asked me to read it to you. Here it is. Mr. Robinson begins by saying, from the towns and townships and yet sparser settlements of the 5 road districts of our county, more than 600 of our lads, out of a total population of only 6,000, have gone off to war. We are drawn together in an intimate, countrywide way of life. A telegram from the War Department to the parents of one of our boys becomes, in a sense, a telegram to all of us. In an inattentive but happier sense, the following letter, although addressed to a fellow named Joe, is for all our kids who are putting their lives on the line for us. Dear Joe, it was October when this was written, and now, where you are, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, Joe. Merry Christmas. That was the whole county talking, Joe, not just one person. But there's more to the county than your family and all your friends. There's old Butte squinting down in the lesser mountains, as if he were nature's own top sergeant. Old Butte says Merry Christmas, too. All the way from Kit Carson Pass to Mokalumna Hill, the creeks are rising. Sutter Creek, Indian Creek, Dead Man Flat, where the trout were plenty. There just isn't any sweeter music than the sounds the old babblers make. And it's a Christmas carol they're singing for you, Joe, in October. You get the point. You got a lot of pals here, and they've all got voices, individually and conglomerately. It's queer writing a letter like this in October. It will move through space and time. And when you get it, time will have meaning in still other directions. But Christmas Eve, the confusions of space and time will cease absolutely. We shall all face the east, you where you are and we here, and we shall watch and wait for the first star to shine through the dusk. And in the miraculous moment of its appearance, we shall all be together again. Joe, Merry Christmas. Okay, this letter starts moving, and it's November 19th. Exactly 81 years ago today, a tall, gaunt, bearded man, sorrow-struck and infinitely compassionate, stood on a hill in a little town in Pennsylvania and made a 2-minute speech. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us. Do you feel bitter enough about it today, Joe, to say that generation after generation has let Lincoln down? Okay. Then this letter moves on, and it's Thanksgiving. Of course, we've got much to be thankful for. War makes you realize that this country was hard-born. And you think of other fellows who went to war and fought at Valley Forge and at Gettysburg, and maybe in the last war. And all the time, strangely, the country becomes a better place to live in. And after this war, it will be better than ever. A country in which nobody takes advantage of anybody and everybody has a decent standard of living. Doesn't that just about say everything? Christmas has got to be more than a pleasantly vague feeling. Christmases must mean specific things in terms of the man whose birthday we celebrate. So, now it's Christmas, where you are, and our minds give way to our hearts. You're facing the east, waiting for the first star to appear in the sky, and so are we. There it is, Joe. There it is. Every one of us is thinking about you at this instant. Merry Christmas, Joe. And God keep you and bless you.
I'm sure, Don, that nothing could be more welcome to men sweating it out in the cold of a European winter or shivering with the chills that follow jungle fever than such words as you've just read. Bob Hope's told me, and I've seen for myself, that many of our men have misgivings about us here at home. Are we keeping it the way they want it to be when they come back? The way they want it to be is summed up in the song that they ask for most. It's not only snow and mistletoe they're dreaming of, it's 4th of July picnics and St. Patrick's Day parades. The big game on Thanksgiving Day, apple pie and sorghum on hotcakes, a red silo in the Empire State Building. That's what the men offshore sum up in the words, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your day be merry and bright, and may all Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry
is Don Amici saying it has truly been a pleasure to be with all of you this Christmas Day. May the star that shone on Bethlehem shed its beneficent light on all of you during the coming year, and in ever-growing intensity in the great future of peace. Herod and all his might could not distinguish that light. It will continue to flood the world long after the defeat of our enemies. For none can still the voice of those who sing, God in the highest, and on earth, peace to men of goodwill. To you men and women who are winning that inevitable peace, good luck and safe return, and may God be with you always.
For making it possible for the Elgin Watch Company of Elgin, Illinois, to bring you this third annual 2-hour Christmas party for the men and women of our armed forces and our allies throughout the world, the Elgin Watch Company wishes to thank Lever Brothers, makers of Lux and Swan Soap, for the appearance of Louis Silvers and George Burns and Gracie Allen, the Pepsi Company for the appearance of Bob Hope and Vera Vague. Jenny Sims appeared through the courtesy of the makers of Philip Morris Cigarettes and Metro Goldwyn Mayer, producers of 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. Don Amici can currently be seen in the United Artists picture Guest Wife. We want the Cheese Company for the appearance of Bing Crosby, the Charioteers, and myself. I'm Ken Carpenter. This entire broadcast was written under the supervision of Carol Carroll and was produced and directed by Anthony Stanford. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KQW San Jose, the Columbia station for San Francisco, Oakland, and the Bay Area.
Lux presents Hollywood. The Lux Radio Theater brings you The Vagabond King, starring Dennis Morgan, Katherine Grayson, and J. Carroll Nash. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. And today I want to add Christmas greetings to each and to all of you, with the sincere wish that you'll be listening to the Lux Radio Theater for many Christmases to come. Some 480 Christmases ago, a young gentleman left us probably the world's most unusual list of gifts. He was on his way out of town, a few steps ahead of the gendarmes. And as a departing gesture, he bequeathed to the girl he loved a broken heart. He willed that all caged things should have their freedom, that children should have care and warmth, and, in a sense, that we of the Lux Radio Theater should enjoy tonight's play. For the gentleman was Francois Villon, about to set out from Paris, and, as I said, a few steps ahead of the police, on a life as colorful and adventurous as any piece of fiction you could find. He didn't stay away from Paris long. In fact, he's back there on our stage tonight as Dennis Morgan in Rudolph Dremmel's stirring operetta, The Vagabond King. Co-starred with Mr. Morgan is the lovely Katherine Grayson, who will be seen next in the Metro Goldwyn Mayer Technicolor musical Anchors Away, which was produced by Joe Pasternak and directed by George Sidney. Also in tonight's cast is the talented J. Carroll Nash. All of us who've longed to be king for a day will discover tonight what happens to a man who has that dream come true, and who at the end of those 24 hours faces either a lifetime with a woman he loves or death upon the gallows. You will see for yourself which befalls it. Not only on Christmas Day, but every Monday night, I like to feel that our stage is bringing together a great circle of fellow Americans, young and old, in big cities and country villages, in farms and lonely mountain cabins, and the lighthouse keeper and his family on rugged coasts and rocks at sea, all bound by a common interest in this theater and a common appreciation of the products which make possible these weekly plays. From far-off Alaska, a member of this audience writes, I work up here in the frozen north, and to preserve my dainty clothes, I lux them regularly. All our stores, even those down the river, boast of carrying a supply of Lux. The only rival snowflakes have up here is Lux Flakes. Well, that's a nice Christmas message on which to ring up our curtain. So here's the first act of The Vagabond King, starring Dennis Morgan as Francois Villon, Catherine Grayson as Lady Catherine, and J. Carroll Nash as King Louis. France in the 15th century, and Louis XI squirms on a tottering throne. At the city's edge, poised for the siege of Paris, are the invading armies of the Duke of Burgundy. But within the walls, half-loyal citizens grumble and plot. Cutthroats swarm the streets, and thieves crowd the taverns. Only a miracle can save France. And while he awaits the miracle, King Louis grows curious about a certain lady in his court.
But, sire, how can you think of Catherine when Paris is ready to perish? I am unable to save my city, Tristan, but maybe I can yet win the lady. Isn't one victory better than two defeats? Now, tell me, what is this ridiculous story about Catherine?
My men have watched as you ordered. The story is true.
Catherine de Vaucelles? Trysting with a jailbird at a thief's tavern?
The Furcone Tavern, sire, tonight.
Oh, I don't believe it. You told me she does not even know the name.
True, sire. A curious chain of events, starting this morning when the rogue was flung out of jail.
His name, who is he? How do you know he isn't my Grand Marshal in disguise? Courbet would do anything to win Catherine.
Courbet? Surely my men would have recognized the Grand Marshal. No, all we know of the man is that he's a most unusual thief, who writes a poem as skillfully as he picks a pocket.
Go on.
As he left the jail with a companion, their destination brought them past the palace walls. It was then that they heard from a far distant corner of the gardens a lady singing. The lady, sire, was Catherine.
Oh, get to the point.
The rogue has a fatal impudence, sire. Hearing her voice, he climbed the garden walls and perched at the top. Remained there, calm as you please, listening to the sweetest voice in your kingdom.
I see an angel, Tabari.
They'll burn out your eyes if they catch you.
If they catch me. God shield her, Tabari. The loveliest face in France.
And you'll hang from the loveliest gallows. Francois, jump down from there.
The vision fades. She walks away. She enters a house.
House? You fool, it's the palace.
Go along, Tabari. I'm waiting here until I see her again. Sooner or later, she'll have to come out.
Francois, if it's a woman you want to look at, think of Huguette. Who could be prettier than Huguette? She's waiting for you now, all soft and luscious. And besides, she owns a tavern.
Tell Huguette I'll be delayed.
No, as a thief, Francois, you're a wise and sane man, but when you turn poet, you turn idiot.
Poet? Yes. And the lady who sang shall have a verse.
You'd make a poem for her?
Who has a better right? I do not know her name. She's never seen me. But I love her.
Oh, what woman in Paris don't you love?
Get out of here. Wait for me at Huguette's Tavern, Furcone. I'll be needing a messenger.
And he sent her a verse? That scum? To Catherine de Vaucelles?
He did, sire. And then the unbelievable occurred. Reading it, Catherine asked the messenger how she might find the man who wrote it. The answer was at the Furcone Tavern, and the time tonight.
Tonight.
You take the news very calmly.
Oh, do I? Maybe it's because I, too, look forward to a diverting evening.
Sire.
Yes, Tristan. Catherine will not be the only stranger. There will be two more visitors at the Furcone Tavern tonight. You and I.
Well, what news you get? Did you find Tabari?
I wish you'd rotted in jail.
Answer me.
No one has seen Tabari for hours.
Tabari's an idiot. I should never have let him take it.
Take what?
Never mind.
Francois, you've been out of jail all day. And all day I've waited here for you.
I walked about the city.
Not according to Tabari. Your good friend spoke of poetry, Francois. Verses for a lady in the king's palace.
Someday Tabari will want to smack his lips and find he has no tongue.
What are you afraid of? Afraid to say you're tired of me? But your weariness takes a strange turn. You and the lady of the palace.
Shut up.
Did she hold her dainty nose when she kissed you, Francois? Or can she love a thief with the smell of jail about him and rags on his back?
I'll give you a better cause than that to mock me, little one. This lady hasn't even seen me. Now drown your jealousies in your wine.
Make love to the whole court for all I care.
That's more like you. You know, Wait. Those two men, the corner near the door. Who are they?
They pay for their wine in gold. That's all I know.
In gold? Well, perhaps before they leave tonight, the gentleman and I will know each other better.
An evil-looking place, sire. A moldy cellar.
Well, what did you expect? A bird's nest?
And still no sign of Catherine, Your Majesty.
No, don't say Majesty here, you fool. Plain Louis. Now, what caused you to look so sour? Burgundy is at my gates. My throne sways like a drunkard. Catherine spurns me, but do I pull a long face?
You do worse. Sniffing about taverns after a girl.
Before I die, Tristan, there are two sights I want to see. One is Burgundy's head on a pikestaff, and the other is haughty Catherine de Vaucelles trysting with a beggar poet in this pigsty. But of course, if you prefer to talk politics, Tristan, last night I dreamed a dream.
Politics dwell far from dreamland.
I dreamed that I was a swine, rooting in the streets of Paris, and that I found a pearl of great price in the gutter. I took it and set it in my crown, where it shone so bright it filled all Paris with its brilliance. And then a great star fell from heaven.
Greetings and stars and women, while Paris goes to the dogs. Excuse me, but we're being watched.
Well, what happened? No one will recognize me in these clothes.
That young fellow with the tavern mistress.
Who is he? You know him?
Aye, every criminal, every wanted and beggar in Paris calls him king.
King?
Thief, scholar, swordsman, king of the Vagabond.
Well, then bring him here. I'd have a word with my brother ruler.
Sire.
Call him.
Villon. Monsieur Villon. Friends don't shout at me, monsieur. And strangers don't dare.
We are strangers with gold. Here, perhaps we can buy your company.
My company? You could have my soul for less. Hey, all of you. Everyone, come here.
Oh, everyone. Good heavens, must they?
I must feed my people, as King Louis has forgotten to do these many years. We'll drink, monsieur. Drink to the death of a stranger.
Death? A stranger?
You grow pale. I mean the stranger at the walls of Paris. Burgundy. Death to Burgundy.
Oh, so, a patriot.
Rather a poet. Death to Burgundy makes good rhyming.
And to what use do you put your rhyme?
Use? Only a song, monsieur.
Come on, you beggars of Paris, come, you lousy rabble of low degree.
You rabble of low degree.
We're starting, Louis, to keep this crown and save our city from Burgundy.
Our city from Burgundy.
You and I are good for nothing but to die. We can die for liberty. Sons of toil and danger, will you serve a stranger and bow down to Burgundy? Sons of shame and sorrow, will you cheer tomorrow for the crown of Burgundy? Onward, onward, forward against the foe! Forward, forward, for any man is foe! Sons of France around us, break the chain that bound us, and to hell with Burgundy!
Sons of toil and danger, will you serve a stranger and bow down to Burgundy? Onward, onward, forward against the foe! Forward, forward, for any man is foe! Sons of France around us, break the chain that bound us, and to hell with Burgundy!
It's a pity Burgundy can't hear your rhyme.
He has other subjects, too, for his verses, monsieur. Just today, a lady at the court. Tell him, Francois, this glorious vision, this delicate treasure.
Yes, the very flower of Louis's court.
Catherine de Vaucel.
Well, indeed. You're fitting high, my lyrical jailbird.
All Paris knows that the old goat himself has grown older chasing her.
What's that? Old goat?
The oldest and scurviest in France. Louis XI. Louis the Ludicrous.
Perhaps you drink too much, monsieur.
What can an honest thief do but drink? With the enemy at our door and a helpless ninny on the throne.
No doubt you could do better in Louis' place.
Francois has a rhyme for that, too.
May we not hear it?
Why not? But it will cost you a drink for us all.
Very well, very well. Begin.
The figure on the throne, you see, is nothing but a puppet. Planned to wear the royal bravery of silken coat and gilded wand. Not so we Frenchmen understand. We'd bid the damned Burgundian dance. And such a one would take command if Villon were king of France. If Villon were...
Look, it's the boy.
Where have you been, you sniveling gossip?
Occupied on your business, Francois. I've news, but only for you. Come with me.
What is it?
Your verse, Francois. I did as you ordered. I brought it to the lady.
And where have you been since?
I couldn't leave. She told me to wait.
Why? Why should she want you to wait?
Francois, she wants to meet you.
That's what you're saying.
It's the truth. She's here, Francois. Now, Catherine de Vaucel. I brought her by the other door. Just go up these stairs. She's waiting for you now in that room up there.
If this is a joke to body, I'll kill you.
Hurry, before you get seat. Hurry.
I was told you wished to see me, my lady.
You are Francois Villon?
Yes?
So gloomy a room, monsieur.
I am not one you would want to see, but if you would like a light,
We'll be but a moment. Monsieur, you wrote a verse for me.
Forgive me, my lady,
If you are the poet, you'll remember the lines.
Yes. If I were king, love, if I were king, what tributary nations would I bring to kneel before your scepter? And to swear allegiance to your lips, your eyes, your hair. Beneath your feet, what treasures would I fling if I were king?
Monsieur, what sort of man are you?
One who steals without shame, who runs his sword through his enemy and sleeps on an easy conscience. These are my brief virtues. My vices better stay unnamed.
You risked much in writing me, monsieur.
My lady, this room is dark as a dream. And like in a dream, I can speak words I never thought you'd hear from me. I worship you. Now, what would you have me do?
You say you love me. I love France. Listen, I learned today that the Grand Marshal is betraying France to the Duke of Burgundy. You could stop him.
I?
You spoke of words and swords, but perhaps you didn't mean to be taken at your word.
I didn't hope to be.
The Grand Marshal will be here any moment. He is coming to meet some man in that crowd down there.
And how shall I know the Grand Marshal?
I've been watching from the window. He turned the corner a moment ago. Listen. He's at the door now. Come and you will see him enter.
Open up. Open up here.
Coming, monsieur. That is the traitor.
There's a man here named Rene Cassel.
There he is.
Send him in here, alone.
Yes, monsieur.
The Grand Marshal. And I would kill him at your word, milady?
There's time for nothing else. If he leaves here tonight, there may not be a France tomorrow.
I'll go below and listen. Wait here, milady.
But he will see you.
Only when I want him to see me. Milady.
Yes?
That rose you're wearing. Maybe it will bring me luck.
Here, take it, monsieur.
Thank you, milady.
And in exchange for Paris, Rene, what does Burgundy concede to me? It demands a met excellency. Open the gates of Paris, and in return, Burgundy gives you a dukedom and the maid Catherine de Vaucel.
For 3 years, Louis denied me the girl. Now she costs him his throne.
Stop the chattering and bring me some wine.
Who is he? Who is that drunken fool there? Only a man named Villon, excellency. What have you overheard?
My ears are large, monsieur. I didn't miss a single word.
Throw him a coin, Rene, and shut him up.
Bribery? Why not? But you can win me only with wine. Come inside and open the bottle.
Get out of here, you drunken scum.
Scum, monsieur?
Take your hand off me.
After you apologize.
Let go.
You think a slap gets rid of me? Can you use that sword you wear, monsieur?
Excellency, Villon's the best swordsman in Paris.
Stand back and close the doors.
No, excellency. They'll kill you. Stop them. Stop them.
A brawl, sire. We best get out of here. Well, a brawl indeed. Tristan, look who's fighting. Villon. And my Grand Marshal. Sire, it must stop at once. I think Villon's of the same mind. Look, the knave has run him through.
Francois! Run, Francois, run! The King's archers! The King's archers, they're here!
Stay where you are. The King's name. Excellency, you're wounded. It's nothing. I'm all right. But that devil there.
Villon. Francois Villon, monsieur.
Take him out and hang him. Hang back.
Wait. Now, wait a moment.
Who dares delay the King's justice?
I am the King's justice. I am the King.
Your Majesty.
Tristan, bear my Grand Marshal to the surgeon. Now, do you hear?
Yes, sir.
And as for you, Villon, take Master Villon to the palace dungeon.
Sire, he only tried to serve your throne.
Well, milady, I've wondered when you'd appear.
The Grand Marshal is the traitor.
Is he? And what, my Lady Catherine, are you? Who gave you leave to quit the palace for this rat hole?
Please, let Villon go, sire.
You spoke of France, my lady. But was it France you wanted to save from Burgundy? Or was it yourself, from the Grand Marshal?
Believe me, I didn't know that he plotted for me, too.
It doesn't matter.
And what would Villon do now, monsieur, if Villon were the King of France?
He would fight Burgundy. Then, doubtlessly, he would hang Villon. But Villon, Ted, is still a better man than Louis. Louis do nothing. Louis dare nothing. God, where our battle flag would stand if Villon were King of France.
Sons of shame and sorrow, will you cheer some more for the crown of Burgundy? Forward, forward, swords against the foe! Forward, forward, the lily banners go! Sons of France around us break the chain that bound us, and to hell with Burgundy!
Our stars will return in Act 2 of The Vagabond King in just a moment. Now, here's what happened at the Jones house this morning. Everybody was knee-deep in tissue paper and ribbons when Mrs. Jones said...
Oh, what a lovely slip. Just what I wanted. Thank you, Janie, darling.
You're welcome, Mom. I hope you'd like it.
Now, you go ahead and open your present. The one over there on the right. I think you'll be surprised.
Oh, a slip. Why, Mom, it's just like the one I got you.
I guess that proves we both have good taste.
I can see we better sew name tags on these so we can tell which is which.
And now, let's look into a crystal ball and see what's going to happen to those slips in 1945.
Oh, Janie.
Yes, Mom?
Jane, could I borrow one of your slips, dear? I'm going downtown to buy a dress today, and I just can't be seen in this rag.
Of course. Look in that bottom drawer.
Oh, here's the one I gave you for Christmas. Why, dear, you haven't worn it.
Sure I have. Lots of time.
Well, it doesn't look it. The one you gave me is dreadfully faded, and the seams are pulling.
Sorry, Mom, but I'll bet that's your way of washing. Me, I always stick to Lux Flakes.
Well, I'll admit Lux does make a difference. A lot of difference.
Sometimes daughters know best, Mom.
When they know Lux, eh, Janie?
It is surprising what a difference Lux Care makes in the way underthings look and wear. If you could see the dozens of slips and nightgowns that were washed by a famous laboratory, you'd never trust underthings to wash day methods again. Hot water, strong soap, rough handling soon left underthings faded and drab. Straps frayed, too, and seams pulled out. On the other hand, exactly the same kind of slips given Lux Care stayed lovely and fresh. Yes, through 3 times as many washings. Lux Care is certainly thrifty care. Now, Mr. DeMille returns to the microphone.
Act 2 of The Vagabond King, starring Dennis Morgan as Francois Villon, Catherine Grayson as Lady Catherine, and J. Carroll Nash as Louis XI. It's later the same night. Francois Villon sleeps in a prison cell. But rest doesn't come so easily to the man who put him there. Plagued with fears and uncertainties, King Louis has sent for the court astrologer. High in the palace tower, they scan the starlit sky with anxious eyes.
And in this dream you speak of, sire, you say you found a pearl of great price?
Yes, in the gutter. How do the stars interpret it?
The position of the moon and Jupiter revealed this was a dream of great significance. They were in that exact same position when Joan of Arc saved your own father.
Oh, the Maid of Orleans is dead. Who is to help me?
Clearly, the pearl in the gutter indicates one of your own subjects, someone from the depths, who may arise and save your kingdom.
And the star that fell from heaven. What is the meaning of the star?
I cannot answer, sire. Perhaps it means that if this same creature from the depth were exalted to the height, he would be destined to fall quickly like the star of his own weight.
But you're not certain it means this?
It's very mysterious. No, I'm not certain.
Tristan.
Sire?
A bag of gold for the astrologer.
Good night, sire.
Good night. Exalted from the depths. From the depths. Come here, Tristan. You heard what the stars have told us. A person from the depths may yet save France. Tristan, I have just appointed a new Grand Marshal. Francois Villon.
Villon?
Don't stand there gaping. Go now and see that a flagon of drugged wine is placed in his cell. Let him awake tomorrow morning in the palace, washed and beardless, sumptuously dressed, so changed his very mother would not recognize him. You and I alone will know of this.
But...
No buts. Joan of Arc saved my father's throne. May not Villon save mine?
You'd spare his life? Villon's to live?
Yes, for 24 hours. Then he hangs.
You put me in prison, sire. Why can't I remain there? Look what you've done to me. I stare at myself in the mirror and say, Leon, my friend, where are you?
By the saints, you smell like a violet.
And these clothes, all silk and velvet.
As befit the man you now are.
What man?
The Count de Montcobier, my new Grand Marshal.
Oh, we're both drunk.
Oh, I don't joke. Did you joke when you boasted you'd be a better king than I?
It was no boast.
Well, then king you shall be, as well as Grand Marshal. King for 24 hours.
And after that?
Oh, you'll be yourself again. Thief and cutthroat. And your last act as king will be to hang the rogue you really are.
24 hours.
Well, is it not enough? Are you so keen to live?
I never was until yesterday. Living suddenly becomes a sweet habit.
I thought so. Tristan.
Sire?
I was wrong. Take this braggart, strip him of his silks, and whip him back into the gutter again.
Then I'm free?
Free to run howling with your tail between your legs.
Your Majesty.
Well?
Lady Catherine is here. She begs an audience with the Grand Marshal.
Lady Catherine?
Oh, she'd speak to a man, not to a cur who calls himself a king.
Wait. You say I can rule for a day?
Precisely.
On your word of honor?
Oh, my word is my honor.
Agreed, then.
In that case, Tristan, the Lady Catherine may have an audience. May she not, Excellency?
Yes, and quickly. First, let her know, Tristan, our new Grand Marshal is the Count de Montcobier.
I was told I might have an audience with the Grand Marshal.
As long as you wish, my lady.
I am Catherine de Vaucelles.
I know.
As Grand Marshal, monsieur, you hold the lives of all prisoners.
I do? I mean, yes, my lady.
In prison is a certain Francois Villon. I come to ask that this man's life be spared.
What is his crime?
He tried to rid France of a traitor.
He's so fired with patriotism?
He did it because a woman asked it. He thought he loved her.
He thought. Why do you plead for his life?
Because I am that woman.
You risk disgrace telling me this.
He risked his life.
You don't, by some strange chance, think that you love him, do you?
I? He's of the street. A common thief. But still he does not deserve to die.
Does anyone? Well, your wish is granted. Villon is free.
Free?
As free as I am.
Oh, I'm deeply grateful, Excellency.
Wait. I'd like a favor also.
Yes?
My lady, I'm told you're inclined toward the making of ballads. I've given you a man's life. The fee is a song.
A song, Excellency?
Do I ask too much?
No, only you puzzle me. I don't quite understand.
Please sing, my lady. Who knows? Maybe your song will unriddle me.
Until we
I think I know better now, my lady, why this Vion risked his life for you. How he looked at you. As a muddy pool might look at the moon in heaven.
Monsieur, I've seen you before, haven't I?
Yes, and I think your thief must have felt as I feel now.
But how would you know that?
How do I know I live? Like him, I also loved a lady. I lost her, and with her my world. But I have found her again, in you.
I care little to be flattered, monsieur, and less to be wooed.
What does a man do to win you?
Oh, this is no season for such talk. I had hoped a man had come to court. A man who could free France of Burgundy.
And if that man should come?
My love is all for France, and him who saved her.
Excuse us.
Friend Louis, Lord Tristan.
Oh, we grieve at shattering this tender interval, but we have a guest.
The Duke of Burgundy has sent a herald under truce.
I beg your leave, Excellency.
You time your interruptions, sire, with all the delicacy of an elephant.
Well, you would be king, Vion, and this is the state's business.
Then get it over with. How much time do you think I have?
Power tastes sweet. That's what? Now that you meet her on an equal footing.
Shall I thank you again, Majesty?
Oh, I pleased only myself. Francois.
What?
In these precious hours until tomorrow, should the fellow you now pretend to be, the Count de Montcorbier, should the Count win the heart of Lady Catherine, Vion shall escape the gallows, and the Count marry his lady love.
You know what you're saying, sire?
Oh, always, and never better than now.
If Lady Catherine offers me her love, I'm free. You'll give your word on this bargain, too?
Oh, naturally. Now, go receive the herald. I'll follow in time.
At once. Sweet Louis. Kind, generous.
What?
This offer, sire, is inconceivable. You'd give him his life?
Only if he should win Lady Catherine. I like my little measure of revenge. Mrs. Catherine has spurred me too long. It will be sport when the lady finds she's disdained my love to smile upon a beggar. I overheard their meeting, Tristan. She spurs him on to great deeds against Burgundy. Oh, he'll fight for her as he would never fight for us. Come now. I'm anxious to hear Vion's answer to Burgundy.
Herald of Burgundy, in the name of the Duke of Burgundy, greetings to Louis of France.
Greetings and be brief.
Will it be peace or war?
My Lord Grand Marshal will answer that.
I, Your Majesty?
You, Grand Marshal.
Well, is it peace at our terms or war?
Wait. There are more pressing matters. Lord Tristan, the court grows dull. We give a ball tonight.
At a time like this?
Dancing in the gardens, plenty of wine.
King Louis, what is this folly?
Oh, do what he says. He speaks for France.
Thank you. Now then, Harold.
The Duke of Burgundy summoned you to surrender. If you refuse, it means disaster, manifold death, and slavery.
Brave words, Harold. In God's name and the King, go back to your master and say, we are well fed, we are well armed, we lie snug and warm behind our Paris walls, and we laugh at his threats. This is our answer. This and the drawn sword. God and St. Denis for the King of France.
We pause now for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. We'll return with Act 3 of The Vagabond King in just a moment. Now, this morning, when a certain young lady was unwrapping a Christmas package, her sister sat watching her, wondering.
Oh, I hope she'll like those stockings I gave her. Mom said Sis needed them, so I got 3 pairs of rayon shears. Hope she likes them. They're the kind I wear myself. Mom did say, though, that if I gave Sis stockings, it would be like pouring water down the drain, because she gets runs all the time. Wish I could tell her to take care of them without getting her mad. I'd say, now remember, they're sheer and shouldn't be handled like those black monstrosities we used to wear at school. Luxing them after every wearing really keeps them going a long, long time. Just remember to use Lux Flakes. Don't rub them with whatever cake of soap you have handy at the time, and don't use strong soap. Use lukewarm water, and don't drape them on the radiator for a quick drying job either. That's bad. And don't put them on before they're thoroughly dry. Take at least 24 hours. Maybe Sis knows all this already, but I doubt it, else Mom wouldn't have said she was hard on stockings. If she'd used Lux, they'll last much longer. But, of course, all I said on the card was love and a Merry Christmas.
Now, if that little sister does Lux those nice stockings, she'll get a real gift. Maybe the wear of 6 pairs from 3. Because Luxing can make stockings last twice as long. Strained tests proved it. Stockings washed with mild Lux Flakes didn't go into runs nearly so soon as those washed with a strong soap or rubbed with cake soap. Remember, for extra wear, use Lux Care. Now, Mr. DeMille returns to the microphone.
I don't often make public confessions, but when we chat with our stars after the play tonight, I'll reveal one secret from my past. Now here's Act 3 of The Vagabond King, starring Dennis Morgan as Francois Villon, Catherine Grayson as Lady Catherine, and J. Carroll Nash as Louis XI. Francois Villon's one day of glory is more than half spent. All afternoon he was strangely absent from the palace, returning only an hour ago with his friend Tabari. The ball ordered is at midnight, but he and Tabari remain in the garden, planning the attack on the snarling armies of Burgundy beyond the city walls.
What about the king's mercenaries, the archers, the army?
They'll be on our flanks. Paris will be defended by the people of Paris, our people.
We'll be ready for you, Francois.
In 2 hours, 10 o'clock tonight.
10 o'clock. The taverns are swarming, Francois. They wait their orders from the new Grand Marshal, who lifted the tax from their wine, opened the prison gates, and gave them food. Oh, it's a new Paris, Francois. Alive, ready, greedy for victory.
You've done well, Tabari. Go back now. Keep among them every minute. God shield us all this night, my friend.
I've been waiting to find you alone, monsieur.
Lady Catherine,
All by yourself while the palace dances?
I was about to come in to look for you.
You know, they do more than dance in there, my lord. They talk of nothing but the wonders you've worked. You've made the king popular, the people loyal, and the army faithful. And now, I think I've guessed the reason for this ball.
Let Burgundy think we're soft. At dawn, when they'd guess us full of wine and sleep, their attack would come. Except our attack will come first, at 10 o'clock.
So soon, my lord.
Hope that is soon enough.
Well, that's not what I meant.
What did you mean?
Nothing.
Catherine, look at me.
No, please.
What are you thinking?
Of a man whose life you saved?
Villon?
Yes. How he must despise me.
How can you possibly worry over such a creature?
I asked Villon to kill a traitor.
Well, at least he exposed him. Courbet has fled to Brittany.
But Villon thinks I lied to him.
How do you know?
He must. It's evil enough to ask a man to kill another. But Villon believes I did it for myself and not for France. The Duke of Burgundy had promised me to Courbet. I didn't know that.
I swear I'm not flattered, Catherine, seeing you fret over a rogue from the gutter.
Real men are rare in France, monsieur. But think no more of him, for I shall not.
And of me? Will you think of me after tomorrow, when I'm rather certain I'll be dead?
I pray not, with all my heart.
My lady, and our Grand Marshal. Might I suggest, Excellency, that you show yourself inside?
In a moment.
Lady Catherine, His Majesty had hoped you would sing for our guests.
If he wishes.
He's quite impatient. Now, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
My lords and ladies, at His Majesty's command, Lady Catherine de Vaucelles.
Your Majesty.
Yes, Grand Marshal.
May I speak with you outside?
This way.
We strike at Burgundy shortly.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
And as for me,
Yes?
there's no outwitting you, sire. Build your gallows tree.
A gallows tree? You've lost all hope.
I've neither time nor heart for your game. She's a lady, royally proud. I can't trick her. Before I leave, I'll tell her who I really am.
That you are Vion? You think you'd win her with honesty?
No, I couldn't win her with lies or with truth.
Well, then rest assured you'll swing if you return from battle. Wait, someone's coming. Well, the lady herself. Catherine, my dear.
Sire, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, we merely exchanged some trifling opinions on life and death. By the way, your song moved me much, milady.
Thank you. My Lord Grand Marshal,
Yes?
if I shouldn't see you again tonight, take this if you care to.
Well, one of my choicest roses. I do not grow these, Catherine, to dispense to my army.
Perhaps it will bring fortune to the army, sire.
Well, maybe. Take it, Grand Marshal.
Thank you, Catherine.
I'll still be more shameless, sire. With it, I give him my hand and my heart.
Wait.
Oh, charming.
Catherine, look at me closely. Don't you see anything to remind you? Last night, a gloomy tavern, a thief who wrote a verse.
What of him?
Only this. I am that thief.
You?
Francois Villon. You betrothed yourself to a jailbird, my royal lady.
Sire.
Oh, Paris will be greatly amused. If I could not have you for a queen, at least France has you to laugh at. Catherine de Vaucelles throws herself at a full-fledged scavenger.
And you, Monsieur Villon, why did you do this? Have you nothing to say?
I told you once I loved you.
And is love a trick to you, too? Oh, go back to your tavern and gloat well, monsieur.
Yes, methinks you'll hang, Master Villon.
The Burgundians may teach you yet.
Yes, the
If
Burgundians.
you learn how the battle goes, your messengers can find me at the crossroads.
My archers will be at the crossroads.
No. Your people will save your throne, not your army. You hear that song? And those who sing will fight for you. The rabble of Paris, half drunk and all inspired. Goodbye, sire.
The battle. What word of the battle?
At midnight, Burgundy threw his full force at the crossroads. Villon still holds fast.
News, I say.
3 times the enemy attacked. 3 times our people wavered. And then stood firm.
Oh, God be praised. The dawn is breaking, Tristan.
None too cheerfully, Your Majesty.
No further news?
None, sire.
But that hammering.
Your gibbet, sire, for Villon. When and if he returns.
Your Majesty.
Oh, fair Catherine, you arise early.
I've been to Mass.
To ease your heart.
My heart is at the crossroads, sire.
With France, yes, I know. But all of France is a broad target for a little heart. It's time you narrow it down to, say, a Frenchman.
I have.
Since last night?
Oh, I've learned much since then, sire. I've learned the truth. I love him.
Villon?
But a pointless truth, since I doubt that I shall ever see him again.
Yes, it would be kinder far if he were to die out there than dangle on his gallows.
Gallows?
Well, it's the reward he gambled for. Your hand in marriage or the hangman's noose.
But how could you offer my hand in marriage? My rank forbids it.
Well, of course it forbids it. That's why I knew I couldn't lose, milady. Well?
Paris is saved, sire. Your Grand Marshal and his rabble return in triumph.
Oh, victory!
They're pouring into the square after him. Paris has gone wild.
Summon to the cross of the square. We receive Villon at once.
Villon, here are banners for your carpet, sire. An hour ago they floated over Burgundy.
Speak to your people, Villon.
In the king's name. In the king's name, there will be gold for every man who fought, and a month's food for all of his family.
Ever generous with my treasury, Villon.
To the end, sire.
Well, for heaven's sake, speed the end before I'm bankrupt.
As you wish. You who have fought with me know me by 2 names. To some, I am the Count de Montcorbier. To most of you, Francois Villon. We've won a battle, and I lost a wager. As Grand Marshal, I declare the life of Villon forfeit, and that he be hanged at once on the gibbet that waits for him.
Sire, listen to your people. He saved your friend for you. Will you let him die like this?
Well, wait. My good people, you've heard Master Villon. Now, if there's one among you here willing to take his place on the gallows, let him speak and come forward. There is no one. No one.
We're wasting time, friend Louis.
Wait. Sire, I claim your promise.
Catherine. Oh, but you cannot. You cannot marry him. Your rank forbids it.
I renounce my rank. Before you all, I'm Catherine de Vaucel, Grand Seneschal of Gascony. In my domain, I hold the power of life and death, which I now renounce with all my rank, that I may claim to marry Francois Villon.
A miracle. A star has fallen to me out of heaven.
A star! My dream. That was my dream.
Catherine, you would do this to save my life.
It's a life I loved more than my own.
Now, wait. Keep your lands and titles, Catherine.
Sire.
Oh, have no fear. I'm through with jests and trickeries. My dream. Yes, it all comes clear.
Your dream?
The stars foretold me of this union. I have no will to question destiny. Francois?
Majesty?
You have my blessing, both of you. Now, get her to the nearest priest and hurry. But first, a promise, Catherine.
Yes?
For heaven's sake, never let this knave play at king again.
Never, sire.
There are sweeter things than being king, friend Louis.
Are there, Francois?
They are told with lips, but without words. Like this.
Yes. I can see what you mean.
That was only the start. Shall I keep on?
Please do.
Only a rose you give me, only a song I love, only a smile.
Now there are all those dishes from Christmas dinner piled in the sink. Do you feel like this?
Oh, dear. Dishes. There's never any holiday for Mother.
Does dishwashing get you down? Well, there is a way to make it a great deal more pleasant.
I'd like it better if it took less time, Mr. Kennedy.
It can with Lux Flakes. Here's what you do. You put your dishes in a big pan full of rich Lux suds and just swish, and they come clean quickly. Then rinse in hot water and let them dry by themselves. Everything but the silver.
Even the glasses, Mr. Kennedy?
Yes, even the glasses. Put them on a paper towel to drain. They may need a little wiping around the edges, but no more. You see, Lux not only dissolves instantly, never gets lumpy, but it rinses off completely, too. Doesn't leave soapy streaks on china or glassware. They dry beautifully clear without wiping. Of course, there's the other big difference Lux makes.
You mean how much easier it is on your hands?
Yes. Strong soaps can leave your hands painfully rough and red-looking. Changing to Lux soon takes that rough red look away, and very thriftily, too. Here's why Lux Flakes are so inexpensive for dishes. Ounce for ounce, they will wash up to twice as many dishes as other leading soaps tested. Why not try changing from strong soaps to Lux for your dishes, to save time and to save your hands? Now, back to Mr. DeMille and our stars.
And now, thanks to Dennis Morgan, Catherine Gratian, and J. Carroll Nash for a most delightful Christmas present in tonight's performance. And since it's Christmas, I'm going to play Santa Claus and give away a secret.
We're in a very receptive mood, C.B. What is it?
Well, it's the reason why I have a tender spot in my heart for tonight's play. You see, 42 years ago, I was a member of the original company that first presented it.
You acted in the Vagabond King, Mr. DeMille?
Well, at that time, Catherine, it was called If I Were King. C.H. Southern starred in it.
What part did you play, C.B.?
Well, I was one of Francois Villon's vagabonds, the worst cutthroat of the lot.
Oh, now, that doesn't sound like you, Mr. DeMille.
Doesn't sound like me. Oh, thank you, Catherine. But the actors who work for me say that that's how I got my start as a producer.
Did you sing too, CB?
Did I sing? Why, certainly.
Good heavens.
Yeah. That's what the audience said.
Well, if we'd known this earlier, we should have had you in tonight's play, CB.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Thank you. It's a little late for that, but if you'd like to hear me sing Maisie...
What play do you have on Lux next Monday night, Mr. DeMille?
I said if you'd like to hear me sing... Well, as I was saying, for next week we have a brand new comedy, just released by RKO. It's Bride by Mistake, and our stars will be Lorraine Day, John Hodiak, and Marcia Hunt. Miss Day and Miss Hunt will be in their original screen roles. Lorraine as the glamorous and wealthy heiress who, in order to test the intentions of the man she loves, poses as her own secretary, with startling and amusing results.
Sounds like an entertaining way to start the new year, CB. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. That's a sweet music tonight. Another Christmas has come and almost gone. And I imagine it came differently to all of us. Here in Hollywood, it passed with sunny skies and summer warmth. Perhaps where you are, it's cold and white and sparkling. But Christmas 1944 has meant one thing to all of us. That for one day at least, the memory of peace on earth has come to men of goodwill everywhere. Peace on earth. For the present, it's a dream in our hearts and a prayer on our lips. But if we can keep our faith and courage through whatever darkness lies ahead, we can look forward with assurance to the day when peace on earth, goodwill to men will be a permanent reality. Wherever you may be, our sponsors, the makers of Lux Flakes and Lux Toilet Soap, join me in wishing you every blessing of the Christmas season. And we invite you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Lorraine Day, John Hodiak, and Marcia Hunt in Bride by Mistake. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
All of us have one thought in mind this Christmas Day, to speed to victory and bring our boys home sooner. You housewives of America can help in an important way by saving those waste fats and greases from your kitchen. Don't let up in this essential contribution. Strain your waste fats into a clean can, and as soon as you've saved a pound, hurry it over to your butcher. He'll give you in return 4 cents and 2 red ration points. Next week, we'll have a new Monday night neighbor. George Burns and Gracie Allen will be on just a half hour before the Lux Radio Theater. You'll hear George and Gracie at their usual time tomorrow, so listen then. It'll be plenty of fun. But next week, tune in a half an hour before we come on, and you'll hear George Burns and Gracie Allen. The Vagabond King was presented through the courtesy of Thames Whitmark Music Library in New York. Dennis Morgan is currently appearing in the Warner Brothers picture Hollywood Canteen. Heard in tonight's play were Walter Bond, Jack Moyles, Beverly Brown, Charles Seal, Tyler McVeigh, Ed Emerson, and Norman Field. Our music was directed by Louis Silver. This program is broadcast to our fighting forces overseas through cooperation with the Armed Forces Radio Service. And this is your announcer, John M. Kennedy, reminding you to tune in again next Monday night to hear Bride by Mistake with Lorraine Day, John Hodiak, and Marcia Hunt.
Spry, S-P-R-Y.
Better cook with Spry, 'cause you'll be a better cook with Spry.
Cakes, pies, fried foods, everything tastes better made with new Easy Mix Spry shortening. So for light, fluffy cakes, tender, flaky pastry, crisp, digestible fried foods,
Better cook with Spry.
be sure to listen in next Monday night to the Lux Radio Theater presentation of Bride by Mistake with Lorraine Day, John Hodiak, and Marcia Hunt. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting